College, Kuruvillangadu of Kottayam district in Kerala. He has worked as a faculty member of the Mathematics Department at St. Thomas College, Palai, where he had been the IQAC coordinator from 2013 to 2021. Under sterling leadership and guidance, the college was awarded A++ grade by NAAC in February 2021. His experience as the IQAC coordinator has worked in good stead for Bishopmoor College also. Sir had been a part of the SAC mock visit team to our college. His valuable and critical observations helped us prepare better for the SAC visit. He has joined us today to share his insights and practical inputs on the topic Research, Extension and Infrastructure, NAAC RAF Perspective. A warm welcome to you, sir. I also welcome all participants and delegates to the current session. I now invite Dr. Sunil C. Matthew to lead the deliberations on the topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hope I am audible to all of you. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good, thank you. So, first of all, I'm thankful to the organizers of this NAAC-sponsored National Online Workshop on Teaching, Learning and Research in the Perspective of NAAC RAF, organized by Bishopmoor College, Mavelikara. So I am asked to talk on two criteria of NAAC revised accreditation framework, namely the third and fourth criteria: research, innovations and extension, and infrastructure and learning resources. Without much introduction, I shall start with the technical session. As all of us know, there are 7 criteria in the self-study report, which every institution is supposed to submit for their accreditation and assessment by NAAC. The first one is curricular aspects. Second one, teaching, learning and evaluation, having 350 weight. Research, innovations and extension with the weight 120. Infrastructure and learning resources with the weight 100. Student support and progression, weight 130. Governance, leadership and management, and institutional values and best practices, both having weight 100 each. Criterion 3, research, innovation and extension. The third criterion of NAAC seeks information on the policies, practices, and outcomes of the institution with reference to research, innovations, and extension. It deals with the facilities provided and efforts made by the institution to promote a research culture. The institution has the responsibility to enable faculty to undertake research projects useful to the society, serving the community through extension, which is a social responsibility and a core value to be demonstrated by institutions, is also a major aspect of this criterion. The third criterion as a whole. So basically, it measures the research culture and the extent of extension. And let us see the key indicators under this criterion. There are 5 key indicators for a postgraduate college. For a UG college and autonomous college, there may be some difference. But for a PG college, we will basically focus on the RAF for a PG college. So there are 5 key indicators. They are resource mobilization for research with weight 15, innovation ecosystem with weight 10, research publications and awards with weight 25, extension activities with weight 50, and finally, collaborations with weight 20. Let us analyze these key indicators with more details with reference to their nature of metrics. As you know, there are 2 types of metrics scattered over this revised accreditation framework. They are qualitative and quantitative metrics. So quantitative metrics seek for quantities or figures or numbers, where qualitative metrics seek for a description about the quality aspects of your institution. Under the key indicator resource mobilization for research, there are altogether 3 metrics, and all of them are quantitative in nature with total weight 15. So under this key indicator, there is no qualitative metric. All the metrics are quantitative. That means up to the DVV process, their importance is over. That means when the peer team visit the institution or during the on-site visit of the peer team, these metrics will, or this key indicator will not have any role during that process. And coming to the second key indicator, innovation ecosystem, there are 2 metrics, one each for quantitative and qualitative aspects, with weight 5 each. And for research publications and awards, actually all the 3 questions are of quantitative nature, and they altogether have 25 weight. But there is no question on awards. Earlier, there was a question on award, but now I think there is no question on award, even though the key indicator is named as research publications and awards. Now coming to the 4th key indicator, extension activities. 3 metrics are of quantitative nature, and 1 question or 1 metric. Whenever I say use the term question, that means a metric. Because for me, this NAAC accreditation is actually an examination. It's just like an open examination. Open examination means all the question paper is already out. There are only 96 questions, and we are supposed to answer all these 96 questions based on the data from our institution or college. And so there are 96 questions, and of which 60 are quantitative. That means those questions require some numbers or figures from our part, which we have to support with solid evidence proof at the time of, along with the submission of self-study report. And for qualitative metrics, the peer team will visit to evaluate the validity, and they will verify your claim with regard to qualitative. Now for these extension activities, there are altogether 4 questions. 3 are quantitative in nature, and only 1 is of qualitative nature. And for collaborations, only 2 questions are there, and both of them are quantitative in nature. Altogether, they have 20 weight. And see, extension activities altogether have weight 50, and 45 weight is for quantitative matrix or quantitative questions. And see, when we analyze this criterion 3, research, innovations, and extension, the total weightage is 120. And 110 out of that 120, 110 is for quantitative questions, quantitative metrics, and only 10 questions, 10 weight is allotted for qualitative metrics. That means the significance of this criterion 3 is very important, or this criterion has importance or significance with regard to the quantitative metrics. That means we should be very careful in submitting the self-study report of or answering the metrics of this criterion when we submit the SSR. 110 weight among the 120, out of this 120 weight, 110 is for quantitative metrics. And peer team has no role to evaluate research, innovation, and extension, limited role only, because only weight 10, only 2 questions. There are only 2 questions, one in innovation ecosystem and the other one in extension activities. So all other things will be already evaluated, will become already evaluated before the visit of peer team. So remember that. So that is the importance of this criterion 3, research, innovation, and extension. So this criterion has only a limited role during the visit of peer team. Now, this key indicator, first one, research mobilization for research. The response of the higher education institution to this key indicator reflects the institutional support to its faculty for submitting research projects and securing external funding. The degree of empowerment of faculty to take up research activities utilizing the existing facilities. Normally, people will say, we have no facility here, because if we would have that much facility, then we would have done a wonderful research, or we would have brought more funding from government agencies like that. But NAAC insists that the degree of empowerment of faculty to take up research activities utilizing the existing facilities. What are the facilities available here? Okay, how much funding? Yeah, you are able to bring based on the existing facilities. The extent to which the institution encourages interdisciplinary and interdepartmental research activities and resource sharing. Okay. Now, we shall go in detail with respect to the key indicator, resource mobilization for research. We have already seen that there are 3 metrics, and these metrics are of quantitative nature. And these metrics measures the grants received for research projects, how much grants are received by your institution for research projects, and how many teachers are recognized as research gates, and number of departments having research projects. These are the things measured by this key indicator. So the institutional support to its faculty for submitting research projects and securing external funding through flexibility in administrative processes and infrastructure and academic support are crucial for securing more marks or more score under this key indicator. Okay, we shall discuss the metric in detail. The first one, 311, the metric 311. The description is grants received from government and non-governmental agencies for research projects, endowments, chairs in the institution during the last 5 years. You have to give your answer in the data template given below. I think all of you can see that data template. So there are 8 columns, 8 aspects. You have to answer. What is the name of the project awarded to your institution? who is the principal investigator along with the co-investigator. What is the department of the principal investigator? In which year it is being awarded? What is the sanctioned amount? The duration of the project from to name of the funding agency, and what is the type? Is it a government project or a non-government project? So these are the things that we have to answer with regard to the first metric under the criterion 3. Now, along with answering or filling up the data template, we have to support our claim by uploading the documents, because it is a quantitative metric. So we have to support by uploading the documents. So in order to substantiate our claim. So you have to prepare a list of grants for research projects received during the last 5 years. That is during the assessment period, along with the nature of award, the awarding agency, and the amount. So in addition to the data template, you upload a list of grants. Prepare a list. Below that you can see any other information, such any other information also you can upload. There is a portal for that, a window for that. You can upload that list also. And e-copies of the letters of award for each research projects sponsored by government and non-government sources. To the awarding letter, the copy of the awarding letter, you have to upload. And we have to note some points while uploading or while answering this metric. First of all, the duration of the grant period to be aligned with the assessment period. The duration of the grant period. So the project or the grant should be awarded during the assessment period. The date of sanction of the project should fall within the assessment period. Grants given by their own trust or sister institutions not be included, because we see that it is government or non-governmental agencies. So one institution may think the management can give, or a sister institution can provide a research fund for the faculty members of the institution, but that is not allowed. Grants given by their own trust. Okay, the trust means the management is also part of the management. So grants given by their own trust or sister institutions not to be included. So NAAC has their own mechanism, or the DVV partner will have their own mechanism to assess whether an institution is a sister institution or not. They will have their own parameters. They have their own mechanisms to judge whether a given institution, whether an institution is a sister institution or not. And grants in the form of equipment, software, skill development centers will not be considered. If you are awarded with some equipments or some softwares awarded by some other agency, or some CSR initiatives of some companies or bank finance firms, you are not allowed, you are not supposed to include such things under this metric, So these are the 3 points you have to note while answering this metric 3.1.1. I hope all of you got it. So we shall move to the second metric. What is the percentage of teachers recognized as research gates? The percentage of teachers recognized as research gates. It's also a quantitative metric, and the weight is 5. A data template, you have to answer 8 different columns, or you have to answer 8 aspects. Support your claim with you have to fill up a data template with 8 columns, name of the full-time teacher, research gates. And see, this data template is the same as that of 242. In 242, the teacher quality is required. There you have to fill up a data template. So the same data template will be used here. So you need not fill any data template for this metric, okay, because that same data template will be carried over to here. Okay. And qualification is required, whether recognized as a research gate for PhD or MPhil or DLit or something like that. Year of recognition as a research gate. Is the teacher still serving the institution So that is applicable to 242. Okay, but the data template is same, because while answering that 242, you have already you have to answer, you have to fill up this data template. So you need not worry about filling up this data template at the time of giving your uploading the documents with regard to 312. But you have to see some documents have to be uploaded. And before that, for NAAC gives us the formula for how they calculate the score for this metric 312. Number of teachers recognized as research gates divided by total number of full-time teachers into 100. That is the formula is used by NAAC to award the score for this particular metric. So if you have more number of teachers or research gates recognized as research gates, definitely you have a chance to get high mark or high score for this 312. What are the documents to be uploaded? E-copies of letters from the university indicating the name of the guide or co-guide recognized. And further, gateship orders of teachers. E-copies of letters from university indicating the name of the guide or co-guide recognized. And also the gateship orders of all the teachers. And further, teachers of the institution recognized as guides during the latest completed academic year will only be considered. So the teachers recognized as guides or having a valid gateship during the last academic year will only be considered for awarding mark for this metric 312. Now let us move forward for metric 313. Percentage of departments having research projects funded by government and non-government agencies during the last 5 years. The departments, how many departments are able to bring research funding to your institution? We are capable of inculcating a research culture by securing grants from government agencies as well as non-government agencies. The data template, name of the project, name of the principal investigator, but I think this is same as the metric, the data template for the metric 311. And the formula for awarding the score of this metric is number of departments having research projects funded by government and non-government agencies during the last 5 years. The number of departments who could secure project funding divided by total number of departments. So simple formula, we can have more marks if more number of departments succeeded to secure funding from government as well as non-government agencies. Now, what are the documents to be uploaded as supporting, in order to support your claim? The list of teachers along with the department affiliation, title of the funded project, the amount and the funding agency during the last 5 years. And some care should be taken to answer this metric. Data provided in this metric should match with that of metric 311C. So there should be matching. So the metrics 311 and 313 are associated metrics, are called associated metric by NAAC. So you should give the same data or the supporting documents should match. If they find any discrepancy, then the marks or score for both the metrics will become 0. Grants given by their own trust or sister institutions not to be included. We already mentioned that. Grants in the form of equipments or software or skill development centers will not be considered. So same criteria or pattern for 311 and 313. See, now we move on to key indicator 3.2 innovation ecosystem. There are only 2 questions under the key indicator, innovation ecosystem. The institution has created an ecosystem for innovation, including incubation center and other initiatives for creation and transfer of knowledge. The institution normally conducts workshops or seminars on intellectual property rights and industry, academia, innovative practices. Awards for innovation won by institutions or teachers or research scholars or students, startups incubated on campus are explicitly commended by this key indicator. There are only two metrics under this key indicator. The first one is institution has created an ecosystem for innovations and has initiatives for creation and transfer of knowledge. This is a qualitative metric. So you have to answer this metric with a description with a maximum of 500 words. It is all about your own institution or our own institution. So we can answer by including all the innovative techniques and initiatives for creation, transfer of knowledge that is implemented in our own institution. So no one can deny that. And the validity of your claim, of your answer, of your response will be evaluated by the peer team on their on-site visit. And if they verify your answer or your response is true, then you can score full marks for this metric. It's a qualitative metric. The supporting documents, you have to upload a sample of them. You need not upload all the documents in order to support your claim. You can upload only a sample of your claim, sample in order to support your claim or your description or your response to this metric. Now, the second metric under this key indicator, innovation ecosystem, is of quantitative nature. It is about the number of workshops or seminars conducted on research methodology, intellectual property rights, and entrepreneurship during the last 5 years. There's a data template. By year-wise, you have to give your response to this metric. Name of the workshop or seminar or conference. See, only 3 types of seminars you are supposed to include under this metric: research methodology, intellectual property rights, or entrepreneurship. So seminars or workshops or conference with these 3 focal areas are to be included under this metric as your response. And what are the documents to be uploaded in order to support your claim? First one, a detailed report for each program. Okay, a detailed report for each program. Each program you have to prepare a report duly signed by the principal as well as the coordinator of the program. Brochure, geotagged photograph with the dates and captions, title of the workshops, seminars conducted. Brochure is compulsory, or brochure or notification or the things or notice of that program you have to include, and the details of resource persons and attendance sheet. Better to include an attendance sheet, the feedback form that you have collected from the participants. Include all such things in order to substantiate your claim for each of the programs that you have conducted. Fine. And as I have already told you, only activities with a bearing on research methodology, intellectual property rights, and entrepreneurship and skill development to be considered here. Skill development, you can include that as a part of entrepreneurship. And courses conducted under the metric 122, that means number of add-on certificate programs offered during the last 5 years, not to be considered in this metric. So some institutions will include number of add-on programs or certificate programs as part of the number of workshops or seminars here as workshops or seminars under this title IPR or research methodology. So that is not allowed. So if you have claimed an add-on course or certificate programs with this research methodology or intellectual property rights or entrepreneurship as the focal area or the thrust area, then you are not supposed to include that under this metric. So the responses should be exclusive in nature, mutually exclusive, okay, with respect to 322 and 122. Now we move on to the key indicator 3.3, research publications and awards. So there are 3 metrics under this key indicator, and all of them are quantitative in nature. As we know, exploration and reflection are crucial for any teacher to be effective in one's job. Quality research outcome is beneficial for the discipline, society, industry, region, and the nation at large. Sharing of knowledge, especially theoretical and practical findings of research through various media, enhances the quality of teaching and learning. Research acumen in an institution is an evolving feature reflecting various research output with clear records such as doctoral, postdoctoral projects, inventions and discoveries, number of patents obtained, and number of quality research publications. So there are 3 metrics, and they are about in the involvement of faculty in research, first one. Second one, the quality of research publications. NAAC measures the quality of research publications by measuring the number of research publications in UGC care listed journals, and sharing of research findings through various media. That is measured by the participation of teachers in various conferences, seminars, and by presenting papers, and also by measuring the chapters or the books published by the faculty members. Let us see the metrics in detail. First one, number of PhDs registered per eligible teacher during the last 5 years. How many research scholars are registered under the research scholars in your college? And fortunately, this data template of 331 is same as that of 312. So we need not fill any other data template. The data template of metric 312 covers the data template of 331. But the supporting documents are different. And before that, we shall see the formula for awarding the score under this metric. Number of PhDs registered during the last 5 years divided by number of teachers recognized as guides during the last 5 years. Okay, number of teachers recognized as guides. So if the number of guides is small, no problem, you'll be getting more marks, provided they should have sufficient number of scholars. Okay, if there are no scholars for a teacher who is recognized as a research guide, then it is better not to include such a faculty while answering this metric. Okay, so that you can reduce the denominator of this fraction used to award the metric for this, the mark for this metric. Now coming to the documents to be uploaded, list of faculty along with the name of the research scholars or gate during the assessment period, and documented registration of the research scholar indicating the gate's name from the university. So after registering, the university will give a notification, will publish a notification bearing the names, containing the names of the student as well as the research gate. And care should be taken to answer, while answering this metric, care should be taken that gateship should be valid during the assessment period. Gateship registration after the assessment period not be considered. So both are same actually. Now we move on to the second metric. The number of research papers per teachers in the journals notified on UGC website during the last 5 years. Number of research papers per teachers in the journals. So now it is supposed that every teacher should publish one paper every year. Then only there is a chance to score mark under this metric. And the data template contains the name of the authors, name of the department of the teacher, name of the journal, year of publication, and you have to give the link of this publication in the UGC care list or Scopus or Web of Science. And also you have to give the link to the website of the journal, and also the article or paper or abstract of the article. So it is not easy to score marks for 332 because we may not have enough number of publications in UGC care list. Okay, when we consider all the teachers. Because the formula, see, the formula is number of publications in UGC notified journals during the last 5 years divided by average number of full-time teachers during the entire assessment period. Okay. So if there are 100 teachers, average number of teachers is 100, then number of publications in UGC notified journals during the last 5 years, okay, will come in the numerator. Okay, anyway, we move on to the next. Before that, let us have a look at the documents to be uploaded. The college should provide the link landing to the paper or article. I have already mentioned that. The college should provide the link to the journal website. The higher education institution should provide screenshots of research articles clearly showing the title of the article, affiliation, name of the journal, year and others name if the links and DOE number are not available. If DOE are not available, even though your journal is listed in the UGC care list without DOE, okay, or it is not available as online, then screenshots, okay, of research articles clearly showing the title of the article, or you clearly take the scanned copy of those articles and put it in your website and give the link. Okay. Okay, fine. And publication of the authors with the institution affiliation will be considered for assessment years only. So when you claim a publication, the author's name should contain the affiliation as the name, affiliation as your institution, and also it should be published within the assessment period. Incomplete entries will not be considered. If details given are not complete with the links or screenshot, the respective publication will not be considered. So I think it is not easy to score marks in 332. So let us move to metric 333. There are the number of books and chapters in edited volumes or books published and papers published in national international conference proceedings per teacher during the last 5 years. The data template is given, name of the teacher, title of the book or chapters published, title of the paper, title of the proceedings of the conference, name of the conference, whether it is national or international, what is the year of publication of the proceedings, ISBN or ISSN number of the proceeding. See, ISBN and ISSN number is also included here. So some publications which are not listed in UGC care list, then you can include those publications here in 333 because such publications you cannot include in 332. However, there is a possibility to include those publications as book chapters under the metric 333. So use that facility or opportunity to score marks in 333. So somehow, if you are not confident about scoring high marks in 332, you can shift all the publications to 333 to score high marks under 333. And the formula is given: total number of books and chapters in edited volumes, books published and papers in national and international conference proceedings during the last 5 years, divided by average number of full-time teachers during the last 5 years. Here, UGC care list or Scopus or Web of Science is not a matter. So we can score marks here in 333. Now, documents to be uploaded for this metric 333: cover page, content page, and first page of the selected publication. So cover page should be given, content page should be given, and first page of the selected publication. Okay, and web link of research web is by title, or department, school, division, etc., and year of publication. And books with ISBN only would be considered. Books publication year should be mentioned. Publication claimed under 332 not to be repeated or included in this metric. So publications included in 332 and 333 should be different. You are not supposed to include a publication in both data template. Okay, fine. So that's all about the key indicator 3.3, namely research publication and awards. Now we move on to the most important key indicator in criterion 3, namely extension activities. So there are 4 questions in extension activities, and it measures the number of extension activities, the impact of extension activities in the neighborhood community, awards and recognitions received for extension activities, average percentage of students participate in extension activities. Earlier, there was a question about the average percent of teachers participating in extension activities. Now we move on to 341. So extension activities are carried out in the neighborhood community, sensitizing students to social issues for their holistic development and impact thereof during the last 5 years. It is a qualitative metric. You have to answer within a maximum of 500 words this metric. Okay. Include all your activities, extension activities. Write 1 or 2 sentences about each of the activities under different headings or subheadings. Okay. And prepare a file for each extension activity in order to produce before the peer team visit. Before the peer team during their on-site visit. Okay, that's all about the 341. It's a qualitative metric. So we simply upload some sample report of the activities that are carried out in the neighborhood community, sensitizing students to social issues. And during the on-site visit, the peer team will evaluate, or they will verify, or they will validate your claim. So that's only 5 weight for this metric. Now for the second metric under this key indicator, extension activities, number of awards and recognitions received for extension activities from government and government recognized bodies during the last 5 years. The extension activities is with weight 50, not 60. It is with weight 50. So there is a correction. Please note that. And the data template, it is a quantitative metric, number of awards or recognitions. So name of the activity, name of the award or recognition for the institution, name of the awarding government or non-government recognized bodies, and year of award. This is a small data template. But documents to be uploaded are e-copy of the award letters and any other supporting document relevance to your supporting document relevance to the and a response to the metric. Okay, fine. Some points to be noted are these awards are to the institution and not to the individual and for extension activities only. So individual awards are not supposed to include or not supposed to be included under this metric. Awards for the institution only, we can claim, and also exclusively for the extension activities. Awards exclusively for the extension activities are supposed to be included under this metric, and also awards from own trust or sister institutions not to be considered, as mentioned already. Anything from own trust or sister institutions are not supposed to include as a response to any of the metrics. Awards local in nature, such as urban or local bodies or panchayat, are not supposed to be included, are to be avoided. Okay, award getting from panchayat or local body or block panchayat or district panchayat or some municipality or corporation are not supposed to be included, are to be avoided. So NAAC will not give any credit to that of such awards. So either from any other government agencies or actually it should come from any government bodies, not from local bodies. Now 343. Number of extension outreach programs conducted by the institution through NSS, NCC, Red Cross, or YRC, etc. So data template is name of the activity, organizing agency, name of the scheme, year of the activity, number of students participated in such activities. These are the required things under the data template of metric 343. Now the documents to be uploaded are geotagged photographs and any other supporting document of relevance should have proper captions and dates. Geotagged photographs. For each of the extension activities, as I have already mentioned, prepare a file which contains the brochure or circular, any funding agency or sanctioned amount or approval letter, if it is funded by any of the government agencies, a list of participants with attendance sheet. Attendance sheet should be signed by the participants, and report, photographs, newspaper cuttings, or such things, and feedback from participants if it is applicable. So before preparing self-study report, please prepare a file for each of the extension activities or each of the programs with these are the content with the contents as following: brochure or notice or circular, attendance sheet, list of participants, photographs, paper cuttings, and report signed by the head of the institution as well as the coordinator, and feedback reports if applicable. So a detailed report for each extension and outreach program to be made available with a specific mention of number of students participated and collaborating agency, number of participants as well as the attendance sheet is required. Claim can be supplemented with the newspaper reports of events conducted for the benefit of their own students not to be included under outreach programs. So extension and outreach programs, it should be for the benefit of the society. So the programs conducted for the benefit of our own students are to be avoided. And when we go to the metric 344, what is the average percentage of students participating in extension activities that you have claimed for the previous metric 343? Total number of students participating in such activities divided by number of students into 100. So that is percentage per year, and average percentage is sum of the percentage per year divided by 5. So what are the documents to be uploaded here? As I have already mentioned, a detailed report and photographs, students' attendance and certificates, students' attendance documents and certificates, if any. Okay, attendance should be signed by the students. See, that not attendance sheet provided should contain signature of students. Okay, and also this is an associated metric of 343. Okay, 343. So the data that you support, that you give, should match with the data that you have already uploaded for in the case of metric 343. So the data given here should match with that of the activities indicated in metric 343. Some associated metrics care should be taken while you uploading the data for the SSR. The associated metric should reflect the same data. So you should upload the same metric, same answer for the associated metrics. Otherwise, both metrics will be discarded by the NAAC. Now coming to the last key indicator of the metric 3, namely collaboration. There are two metrics under this key indicator, collaboration, and both of them are quantitative in nature. They measure the number of collaborative activities as well as the number of MOUs signed by the institution. Number of collaborative activities and the number of MOUs. So you can score high marks here because it is all about the number of collaborative activities and number of MOUs. First one, number of collaborative activities for research, faculty exchange, student exchange, and internship per year. See, so your collaborative activities should reflect, or it is meant for either for research, faculty exchange, student exchange, or internship. What about such number of activities per year? The data template is there, title of the collaborating activity, and name of the collaborating agency, name of the participant, year of collaboration. Okay, so it may be faculty. Name of the participant may be a faculty or a student or a research student, research scholar, whatever be that. And year of collaboration. What is the duration of the collaboration? And there should be a document uploaded in your website. Okay, because collaboration, you have to. There should be a tab in your website for collaboration, collaborative activities, and under that tab, you can specify each of the collaborative activities, and you should give the link of that tab here in the last column of this data template. And the documents uploaded, copies of collaboration or related documents indicating the nature of collaboration and activities year-wise. And there should be some points. There are some points that we should consider while answering this metric. They are: the collaboration should be valid for the assessment period. Okay, the collaboration should fall within the assessment period. The collaboration activities of research, faculty exchange, or student exchange, or internship, or on-the-job training, project work should be facilitated through the mentioned collaboration only. The collaborations mentioned in metric 343 not to be considered here. Okay, already we have mentioned about some activities, so that is not included here. The collaborations mentioned 343, that means about the activities, extension activities. There may be some collaborations that you have established during the assessment period. Such extension activities, you are not supposed to include them in the metric 351. Collaborations with the sister institutions under the same trust not to be included. Nothing special. We have already mentioned that. Certificates issued by external agencies to students, faculty for research, faculty exchange, student exchange, internship cannot be the proof for having collaboration with the external agency. So there should be some written document reflecting the collaboration. Now moving to the second metric under this key indicator, collaboration. How many functional MOUs are there in your institution? How many functional MOUs? Number of functional MOUs with institutions, other universities, industries, corporate houses, etc. during the last 5 years. Data template is there. Name of the institution, industry, or corporate house with whom MOU is signed. Year of signing MOU, duration. Such things are there. Here also you can score high marks because weightage is 10. So for collaboration, I think you can score full marks. Only 2 questions, both having weight 10 each. And the documents to be uploaded are list of activities conducted under each MOU, along with the dates of starting and completion hereby signed by both parties. E-copy of the letters showing MOU with other institutions. MOU, you have to prepare MOU on stamp paper. And also, note that the MOU should be functional during the assessment period. If the MOU is for 3 years, namely 2021 to 2023, it shall be counted only once. Okay? One MOU which is functional, even if it is functional during the entire assessment period, it will be counted only once. At least one activity should have been conducted under an MOU during the assessment period to qualify as a functional MOU with the institutions. Okay, just by signing an MOU will not qualify for this metric. It should be functional. And what is meant by functional? At least one activity should be held within the scope of that MOU during the assessment period. MOU with the sister institutions under the same trust not to be included. Remember that. It's a warning. NAAC have their own mechanisms to judge whether a higher education institution is a sister concern of your institution, and avoid data given in metric 351. So you cannot claim one activity or one signing or one linkage under both collaboration and the MOU. Okay, one linkage should qualify for is qualified for either for collaborations or for MOU. So you are not supposed to include a linkage under both the categories. Now that's all about the criterion 3, research, innovation, and extension. Now, I think we can move to criterion 4. And criterion 4 is about infrastructure and learning resources. The adequacy and optimal use of the facilities available in an institution are essential to maintain the quality of academic and other programs on the campus. Definitely. All of us will agree to that. It also requires information on how every constituent of the institution, students, teachers, and staff, benefit from these facilities, how they use it, to what extent the facilities are functional or it is being used by the stakeholders. Expansion of facilities to meet future development is included among other concerns under this criterion 4. So let us have a closer look on the key indicators under this metric, under this criterion for infrastructure and learning resources. The key indicators and their weightage are (4.1) physical facilities with weight 30, library as a learning resource with weight 20, IT infrastructure weight 30, maintenance of campus infrastructure weight 20. See, every institution can score high marks, more than 3.8, nearly 3.9 or something like that, under for this criterion 4. Okay, because almost all required things are available in almost all institutions. Now let us have an analysis of these key indicators under criterion 4. In physical facilities, there are 4 questions. 2 are quantitative in nature and 2 are qualitative in nature. And their total weight is 30, 24 quantitative metrics and 10 for qualitative metrics. Library as a learning resource. 4 questions, 3 are quantitative in nature. Okay. And they have 16 as their weight, and only 1 question of qualitative nature with weight 4 is there about library. And with regard to IT infrastructure, there are 3 questions, of which 2 are quantitative in nature and 1 is qualitative. And 25 is the weight for quantitative metrics, and 1 question of qualitative nature has weight 5. And about maintenance of campus infrastructure, there are only 2 questions, 1 in quantitative nature and the other is of qualitative nature, and both having weight 10 each. So altogether there are 13 questions, and 8 are quantitative in nature and 5 are of qualitative in nature. See, there is a difference between with criterion 3. In criterion 3, there were only 2 questions that are of qualitative nature, but in criterion 4, there are 5 questions which are of qualitative nature. That means this criterion is important during the on-site visit of the peer team. So they will visit all your facilities and they will give you marks based on their assessment. And total weight for quantitative metrics is 71, whereas 29 is the weight for qualitative. See, even though 5 questions are there, qualitative, their total weight is only 29. Okay then. So this is how we analyze in order to have the judgment about the qualitative and quantitative aspects of the matrix. So where more emphasis is given, or what are the points where more emphasis is given during the peer team visit. Now, let us have a look at the physical facilities. There are 4 questions. Facilities for teaching, learning, classrooms, laboratories, computing equipment, etc. There's a question about that. Facilities for sports, games, etc. Classrooms and seminar halls with ICT-enabled facilities. Expenditure for infrastructure augmentation. So these 4 questions or metrics measure the following. What are the facilities for teaching, learning? And what are the facilities for your sports, games, activities? And what is the what is the extent of ICT-enabled facilities? Or how many classrooms and seminar halls are equipped with ICT facilities? And how much you expend, how much you spend for the augmentation of infrastructure? So these are the 4 metrics, questions, or the areas that is judged by this key indicator, physical facilities having a weight 30. So first one is a descriptive question, that is a qualitative question. The institution has adequate infrastructure and physical facilities for teaching, learning. You have to write what are the facilities. Write an essay about the facilities available in your institution. The maximum of 500 words for teaching, learning facilities. Infrastructure facilities available in institution. 1 question with weight 5. Second question, second metric is also about the facilities for facilities, but this time the facilities for the sports, games, activities. Do you have an indoor stadium? Do you have an outdoor stadium? Okay. Or do you have a playground, gymnasium, yoga, etc.? So describe the adequacy of facilities for cultural activities, sports, games, etc. See, while you answer these questions, care should be taken to mention the number of students in the strength of the students. So if your facilities are enough for your staff strength as well as the student strength, then you can score high marks. No problem. You can score full marks. Convince them. Convince the peer team. That means that we have enough facilities for our students, strength for our students and our staff. That's enough. Okay, fine. So answer to these questions and to convince the peer team during their on-site visit. Now, the third question, percentage of classrooms and seminar halls with ICT-enabled facilities. See, weight is 10. So there should be a room number for each of the rooms, classrooms or seminar hall, name of the classroom or seminar hall, type of ICT facility available in that room, link to geotag photographs. Okay. So what is the formula? Number of classrooms and seminar halls with ICT facilities divided by total number of classrooms or seminar halls in the institution into 100. Now, what are the documents to be uploaded? Geotagged photographs of ICT-enabled classrooms or seminar halls with caption. Only classrooms or seminar halls with ICT-enabled facilities to be considered here. Okay. ICT-enabled facility, if it is available in some other thing, some other places, it is in lab, it is not included. It cannot be included there. And labs and workshops with the ICT facilities not to be considered. So, note that it is a quantitative metric and the weight is 10. Next one, average percentage of expenditure excluding salary for infrastructure augmentation during the last 5 years. Percentage of expenditure. Okay, you have to upload the audited documents. Budget allocated for infrastructure augmentation, expenditure for augmentation, total expenditure excluding salary, expenditure on maintenance of academic facilities, expenditure on maintenance of physical facilities, and formula expenditure for infrastructure augmentation excluding salary divided by total expenditure excluding salary. So you can score full marks here if you have spent enough money for the infrastructure augmentation as per your financial statement audited by a chartered accountant. See, documents to be uploaded are consolidated fund allocation towards infrastructure augmentation facilities duly certified by the finance officer. Highlight the relevant items in the audited income and expenditure statement. Copy of that you have to upload. Okay. This metric is supposed to be looked at with the perspective of infrastructure augmentation only. In the case of privately funded higher education institution, the document should be certified by a chartered accountant. Avoid recurring expenditure on laboratory, maintenance of infrastructure, and acquisition of books and journals under this metric. So this metric should be looked at with the perspective of infrastructure augmentation only. No other expenses are supposed to be included under this metric. Now, we shall move to key indicator 4.2, library as a learning resource. There are 4 questions, of which 3 are quantitative in nature and one is of qualitative nature. And first one, integrated library management system. We have an ILMS in your college, e-resource subscription, and it's about the annual expenditure of purchase of books and journals. And finally, what is the usage of library by teachers and students? See, the first one, ILM, it is about the ILMS. It's a qualitative question. You have to answer this metric with a description containing the following: name of ILMS software, nature of automation, whether it is partially or fully, what is the version, and what is the year of automation. Such things you have to express in detail with a description of maximum 500 words. What are the modules available for the library automation? How it functions, and do you have any AMC for specifically for the ILMS? Such things you can include. Now coming to the second question, second metric in 4.2, the institution has subscription for the following e-resources. What are the e-journals? E-Shodh Sindhu, Shodhganga membership, e-books, databases, remote access to e-resources. What about these 6 options, 6 different items? If you have any 4 or more of the above, you will get full marks for this metric. Nothing more to say about it. It is a quantitative metric, but you have to upload certain documents. And before that, this is the data template specifically for metric 422. Okay. So what is the expenditure? If you have books, you write yes in the first column. If you have e-journals, you can write yes here. But what is the expenditure? Supported by the financial statement, audited financial statement. Okay. Now, documents to be uploaded are e-copy of the letter of subscription or membership in the name of higher education institution, screenshots of the facilities claimed with the name of higher education institution, specific details in respect of e-resources selected. Fine. Not that. The letter of subscription contains complete details. Provide a link to the institutional website for selected options for the verification by DBB, data validation and verification. Soft copy of printed books cannot be accepted as e-books. So if you scan a book and upload it in your library ERP or in your library system, it is not accepted. It cannot be accepted for this printed books, is e-books. Fine. So that are the things you have to upload for this. Now, library as a learning resource, average annual expenditure for purchase of books. So for these items, library resources, this data template is same as for the previous one also. So no new data template is to be filled while answering 423. Now, but you have to upload certain documents, consolidated extract of expenditure for purchase of books and journals during the last 5 years, duly attested by the principal or the head of the institution, as well as the chartered accountant, audited income and expenditure statement, highlighting the expenditure for purchase of books and journals. Okay. So average expenditure will qualify for getting marks for the award of score under this metric. Now, when we go to 424, percentage of per day usage of library by teachers and students. It is a metric for the latest completed academic year only. So last completed academic year during the assessment period will qualify for this metric. Upload last page of an accession register of the library. Method of computing per day usage of library. Number of users using library through e-access. Number of physical users accessing library. Certified e-copy of the ledger for footfalls for any 5 working days that we can decide. However, that during DVV, they may ask for the footfalls for another 5 days. Randomly selected 5 days. That is possible. Certified screenshots of the data for the same 5 working days for the online access. Any 5 working days we can select, and the footfalls data for the footfalls of those days can be submitted. But during DVV, they may ask for some other 5 days. So if it happens, then you have to submit that. So the formula, number of teachers and students using the library per day divided by total number of teachers and students into 100. Now, when we go to the third key indicator, IT infrastructure, there are 3 questions. It's all about the updation of IT facilities, student computer ratio, and bandwidth of internet connection. Institution frequently updates its IT facilities, including Wi-Fi. It's a qualitative question. You have to write about the IT facilities, including Wi-Fi, with the date and nature of updation within a maximum of 500 words. It is having weight 5. Okay. Now, coming to the second one, 432, it's a quantitative question. It's about the student computer ratio. And it is also about the latest completed academic year only. Number of computers available for student use only. Bills for the purchase of computers, and highlight the entries of computers purchased in the stock registers. You have to submit all the bills. Okay. If you fail to submit the bills for some computers, then the NAAC will reduce the number of computers to that extent. So number of computers available for student use only we can. Computers available in the office as well as in the department are not supposed to be included under this metric. The computers for office and faculty use will not be considered. Okay, computers purchased after the latest completed academic year not to be considered here. Okay, up to the completed of academic year you can include. So how many computers are there in your institution? That is the question. And the last one in this metric, bandwidth of internet connection in the institution. If it is greater than or equal to 50 Mbps, you can score full marks 15. See, nothing more. You can every institution can score 5 full marks for this metric, because bills for any 1 month or 1 quarter, maximum 3 months old of the latest completed academic year, indicating internet connection plan, speed and bandwidth, and the higher education institution's name. So bills are there. You can simply upload the scanned copy of the bill attested by the head of the institution. E-copy of the document of agreement with the service provider. And so simply snapshot of speed test will not qualify. So in the bill, there should be the connection, bandwidth, internet connection. It should be more than 50 Mbps, then only you can score full marks. And maintenance of campus infrastructure. Coming to the last key indicator of the fourth criterion. There are only 2 questions, one in quantitative and the other is qualitative. It's all about the expenditure incurred on maintenance of infrastructure and systems and procedures for maintaining and utilizing the facilities. And see, first one, 441, what is the average percentage of expenditure incurred on maintenance? Okay, the data template is same as the earlier one, 414. Okay, same data template is used here, and it is all about the average percentage of expenditure incurred on maintenance of infrastructure. The earlier one was augmentation of physical facilities. Now it is about the expenditure for the maintenance of infrastructure. Physical and academic support facilities you can use, excluding salary. Okay, you have to support by audited financial statement, duly signed by the head of the institution as well as the chartered accountant. See, please note that focus of this metric is only on the maintenance of physical and academic support facilities. Okay, mere statement of last 5 years data on the metric without audited statement will not be considered. Audited statement you have to support. You have to upload. Okay, you have to support your claim with the audited financial statement. That will qualify for the score of this metric 441. And that's all about the criteria 3 and 4 in the RF perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. The session is now open for discussions. If there are any questions, the participants may directly ask them to the resource person, or they may type them on the chat box and it will be read out by the chair. Sir, we have a question.
Yes, please.
Yes, this question is from Dr. Minu Mohan. Where can we get the PDF of the criterion, weightage and data template?
Sir, it is available in the NAAC website. Both PDF of the metric as well as the data template is available in the NAAC website. Or if you want the data template, if it is not available, you simply send me an email. I can give you the data template as well as the metric manual.
Thank you, sir. If there are no more questions, we can conclude the session by proposing the vote of thanks. I invite Mr. Rahul Kuruvada to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks for this section. First, let me thank Dr. Sunil C. Matthew, the principal of Devamata College, Kuruvillangada, a resource person, for sharing his valuable thoughts on criterion 3 and 4. A few months back, Sir guided us in SAC preparations by providing valuable recommendations, which was very helpful during the SAC visit in our college. Today, Sir explained every minute aspect of criteria 3 and 4, which are very important as far as accreditation of institutions are concerned. Sir also explained about the documentations required for these criterion in detail. Thank you once again, sir, for your valuable time and contributions.
Thank you.
I thank all the members of IQAC for their efforts behind this section. I thank Vidhu Miss for chairing this section. And I also thank all the participants from various parts of the country for attending the workshop. Thank you all once again. Have a good evening. Our next section will start immediately. So there will not be any break. And the feedback form is shared in the chat box. So kindly fill the feedback form. Thank you all.
Our next session will be the poster presentation session, and it will be chaired by Dr. Tresia, alias Princip Paulos, the Department of Chemistry. Hope all faculty members presenting presenting papers are present here.
Lynette, miss, all the participants are ready?
Yeah, ma'am. Just call out the names, ma'am.
Okay. Miss Sheena is here. Miss Sheena Sara Vinny is ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Has she joined?
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so do I have the permission to share the screen?
Kindly wait, ma'am. Let me just start the session.
Okay.
So, good afternoon to all of you. I'm Dr. Tresia Paulos, Assistant Professor in Chemistry of Bishop Moore College. I welcome one and all to this session of paper presentations in the NAAC-sponsored National Workshop on Teaching, Learning and Research in the perspective of NAAC Reaccreditation Framework. In this session, we have a total of 13 paper presentations by eminent scholars across India. And so the 13 speakers are there for today's session. Each speaker is allotted 10 minutes, out of which 8 minutes is for the paper presentation and 2 minutes for the question and answer session. Participants, kindly post your queries in the chat box. I'll be reading them out. Or if you would like to personally ask the speaker the question, you can kindly note that in the chat box. So let's start the first talk for today's first paper presentation today. The first paper presentation is on quality culture in higher education institutions in the perspective of National Education Policy 2020. The speaker is Ms. Sheena Sara Vini, Assistant Professor, Sahridaya College of Advanced Studies, Kodagara, Thrissur. The paper is co-authored by Dr. Chaco Jose, Principal, St. Aloysius College, Elthurthu, Thrissur. So I welcome you, ma'am. You can kindly start your presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. May I please know whether the screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. Good evening, respected resource persons, chair of the session, delegates, and members of the workshop organizing committee. Presenting the paper entitled Quality Culture in Higher Education Institutions in the Perspective of NEP 2020. Myself, Sheena Sara Vini, Assistant Professor, Sahridaya College of Advanced Studies, and co-author, Dr. Chaco Jose P., Principal, St. Aloysius College, Thrissur. Quality, higher education, and global competency are the key words, and significance of these are discussed in the paper. To borrow from a study on African higher education institutions conducted by Professor Fred Hayward, University of Massachusetts, quality refers to fitness for purpose, meeting or conforming to generally accepted standards as defined by quality assurance bodies and appropriate academic and professional communities. It is implied here that standardization is crucial in attaining quality. When the education is a quality assured one, the qualification attained by the competent learner becomes valid and significant. There lies the importance of tertiary education leading to a qualification, be it a certificate, degree, or diploma. NEP 2020 has defined what a good education institution is, one in which every student is welcomed and cared for, safe, hospitable, a place where they feel important, where a safe and stimulating learning environment exists. No doubt, all education institutions should be learner-centric as the outcome manifests the quality of the institution. A wide range of learning experiences are offered, not just in classroom instruction, but also practical experiential sessions suitable to the subject discipline, integrated with, of course, social commitment. Good physical infrastructure and appropriate resources, learning resources, student support resources. Physical and academic facilities should be a well-augmented one. All the aforementioned features should be available to all. That's nothing but the equity of education. Excellence can be accomplished through systematization, goal setting, strategizing, re-strategizing, implementation, all leads to excellence. And all these start with a vision. Quality assurance is a tripartite procedure: system, process, outcome. A system in place with valid data-driven processes can lead to desired outcomes. Thus, quality can be achieved. This quality is verified and validated in any assessment accreditation procedure. Educational accreditation is a global phenomenon, so the system needs to be updated periodically, processes reviewed, and outcomes validated. Standardization can earn an institution validation, and reputation. Familiar rankings and accreditors, Indian scenario, NAAC, NBA, NERF. Global ones, QS, Times Higher Education Ranking, EQAC, Educational Quality Accrediting Commission, few among many. Parameters and criteria vary with the scheme, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, the slide. Institutions get accredited, programs get accredited, research is a parameter, student-friendly cities, teaching rankings, employability rankings, and many more. This figure showing NAAC RAF grade declared institutions by grade from 2017 to 2022 draws our attention to the large share of HEIs that have scored B or lower. This raises an alarm. A lot needs to be done. The challenges faced by HEIs also shall be taken into consideration while they are being assessed. Viable solutions to overcome those shall be recommended because many a times institutions get too involved in getting the documentation part flawless. Quality is sidelined. And the challenges may be of varying nature, geographical, regional, categorical uniqueness shall be included as criteria of assessment. Insufficient funding of the institution may also be a reason for a not so good performance. National Education Policy, NEP, National Higher Education Qualifications Framework, NHEQF, UGC Guidelines on Internationalization of Higher Education, GIHE. On the screen, you can see various terms associated with all these frameworks. NHEQF is a continuum of NSQF, National Skills Qualification Framework, and NSQF had envisioned 4 levels of learning. NHEQF has in its fold levels 5 to 10. The various terms, which are simply jargons to many, are essential ingredients in the revamping of education system. So let me walk you through these terms. Academic Bank of Credits, abbreviated as ABC, Competency-Based Education, CBE, Internationalization, Experiential Learning, Student Mobility, Training Programs, Learning Levels and Skills. Academic Flexibility, which has provisions for student mobility within and outside the country to finally attain global citizenship and holistic development. Rather than internationalization, the efforts should be towards re-internationalization, as our country, India, was a hub of foreign students somewhere in the bygone era. Quality culture needs to align itself with this restructuring. Knowledge creation, maybe through knowledge partnerships, knowledge dissemination, skill acquisition, changes in modes of student assessment, all shall be the mandate of HEIs. Not by force, but by choice. Let me draw your attention to a few indicators of quality of education, teachers and teaching methods, resources and infrastructure, integration of values, exposure to global issues and challenges, student mobility, academic flexibility, acquisition of skills, transparent progression routes. Quality upskilling is inevitable. Institutional interconnectedness and global academic exposure can simply work magic. Interconnectedness of all stakeholders of the institution is imperative, as well as interconnectedness of institutions. Quality upskilling is essential to make education equitable, flexible, holistic. Also to attain learner outcomes, skills qualification, global citizenship. Revision in student assessment modes become unavoidable if internationalization is our goal. Digitization of resources shall be practiced for creation of global databases, which will help students to get acquainted with diverse cultural backgrounds and mindsets. A broader view of upskilling oneself and the academia will benefit the world as a whole in identifying global, social, economic, political, and academic challenges and arriving at solutions to make quality living. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sheena. Participants, you can pose your questions in the chat box for Ms. Sheena. Any questions for Ms. Sheena? You can put the questions in the chat box. If there's no question, I would like to thank Ms. Sheena for the wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. And we move on to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Sunny Sonu Pandre, Vidya Prabodhini College of Commerce, Education, Computer and Management from Padwari, Goa. Sir will be presenting a paper on institutional distinctiveness, way to achieve academic and social connect with the community. On to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. I am sharing my screen. Is the screen visible?
No, sir. So you can use the share screen. Okay, okay, it's coming. Yes.
Is it visible?
Yeah, we can see your screen now.
The presentation, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your presentation is visible too.
Okay, thank you. Respected chairperson, organizers, I'm Sunny Sonu Pandre from Vidya Prabodhini College of Commerce, Education, Computer and Management from Parvarim. And I have chosen this particular topic of institutional distinctiveness, way to achieve academic and social connect with the community. And now, as we all are deliberating about NAAC and its importance and all the 7 criteria and the importance of accreditation and every criteria and the matrix which speaks about the stakeholders which are there and whose improvement the entire process of NAAC is being initiated. Institutional distinctiveness is one of the very important questions which helps us, or according to me at least, as far as NAAC is concerned, has a lot of scope of channelizing the efforts of an higher education institution in a right direction. And the way how academic and social connect with the community can be achieved. I have listed out a few of the points where this particular institutional distinctiveness can reach the community and it can help a long way. Many a times what we observe, at least in the state of Goa, when most of our programs are held in the college, it is most of the time we are more concentrating on the student. No doubt that is the most important pillar as far as the higher education is concerned, and everything should rotate around the student. I have no doubt about that, and that should be no doubt about that in anyone's mind. But then most importantly, and this is with very specific reference to Goa, we feel that sometimes colleges are not doing much as far as community is concerned or as far as locality is concerned. This is my experience, and this is with very subjective comment for the state of Goa, because I'm teaching in an affiliated college of Goa University, and therefore in the accreditation process, when we went for our first accreditation last time in the year 2018, with this particular new framework, where we were completely new to this particular framework, we were posed with this question of what ways or what means are there wherein we can show this institutional distinctiveness, how your institution is different as far as other institutions in the states are concerned or in the country are concerned. And at that time, we had this particular discussion, and with that discussion, we found out number of reasons why our institutions was different. And on same base, I have conceptualized this particular paper with regards to institutional distinctiveness. Going ahead, the ways which we have found out and we have implemented, I'm presenting. It is already being done in Vidya Prabodhini College. My college is just 1 or 3 kilometers away from the capital city of Panaji. We are in a rural area, but it is mostly urban type. So taking the locational advantage of being very close to the capital city, we have already started exam centers of various competitive examinations in the college. It helps not only the students of our college, but also the students who answer competitive exams, like for example, in company secretary or maybe in chartered accountancy. All these exams, when they are held, our college is the center for exam center as far as this competitive exam is concerned. This is one way which we exhibit institutional distinctiveness as far as my state is concerned, because there are very less colleges which are exam centers. I'm again repeating the point that my findings or my presentation will be concentrating on my state and its problems which we are facing and how institution is behaving differently in this particular situation. We have started certificate courses for the community. Very few colleges in Goa have certificate courses with regard to the community is concerned. Most of the certificate courses are offered to the students or to students who are studying in that particular college, or maybe some are offered for the faculty members of some other institutions who would like to join. But we have reached community. The third important point which we have included in institutional distinctiveness is we have created a reservoir of TK, that is traditional knowledge. Every locality has its own traditional knowledge, and we have started documenting this knowledge, and we feel that it is the duty of each institution, wherever that institution is in located, the traditional knowledge of that particular locality and the complete information about it should be documented for the people of that particular locality, and this can be presented as institutional distinctiveness. The college has already started a training center of competitive exams, and it is not limited to the college students, but it is for the entire state of Goa, wherein anybody who wishes to join for competitive exam training can join. Again, I'm wanting to point out here, in the state of Goa, there are very less training centers which are for competitive exams, unlike our neighboring states where competitive exam centers and private ones are in large number. the next important point which we have addressed is we have tried to document the socio-economic indicators of the locality. Our college in the academic year 2021 and in the academic year 2021-22, this is this year, have tried to visit, the faculty members and the students have tried to visit, though it is a pandemic time, we have taking care and following all the protocols, we have tried to visit the locality, documenting the socio-economic indicators of the locality, and we have covered 7 panchayats in a nearby college, which we have documented for. We have tied up with RBI, that is the regional offices there in Goa of the Reserve Bank of India, and we have started organizing financial literacy camps for the locality. In this, we are training, especially Goa being a touristic state, we are training all the people who are from the taxi business in terms of financial literacy, of receiving e-payments, etc. Then we have started a nursery in the campus, and we are distributing some plant saplings to the locality. And this is again a unique achievement wherein we have seen to it that the nearby areas, wherever there is a plantation drive, we see to it that the saplings are distributed from the college nursery, and it helps the locality. And by this type, all this while, many times there are conferences and seminars which are held on industry academia interface, but we have tried to find a strong academic and community interface wherein we have tried to advocate the concept of institutional distinctiveness by not making the college island, but making the college a quality community center, and by giving the slogan from campus to community and from college to village. And this is the tagline in which we are working towards institutional distinctiveness. So the conclusion is that institutional distinctiveness, it is one question or one matrix. It signifies institutions becoming an institution for the locality, for well-being of the society and the nation. So these are some of the points of my paper, which institutional distinctiveness we try to establish as far as the NAAC framework is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the wonderful presentation and for sharing your thoughts on the methods adopted by your institute to establish institutional distinctiveness. Thank you so much. The session is now open to question and answers, questions. Participants, kindly post your questions in the chat box. If there's none, we can move on. So join me in thanking Mr. Sunny Sonupandre for this wonderful presentation. Thank you so much, sir. Let's move on to the next speaker, Dr. Madeline NJ. Dr. Madeline will be presenting a paper on impact of outcome-based education system on educational quality and global mobility. Dr. Madeline NJ is professor and head of the Department of Pharmacology at Eritachan College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Trivandrum. Over to you, ma'am. Dr. Madeline. Dr. Madeline?
You can now unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, ma'am. You're audible right now.
Okay, ma'am. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Not yet. Not yet, Dr. Madeline.
Not yet. One minute, ma'am. Now, ma'am?
Yes, it started. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Dr. Madeline, you can start.
Yeah. A warm good evening, one and all. I'm so happy to be here for the presentation. I thank all the organizers of this workshop, national level workshop, and I am here to present the topic impact of outcome-based education system on educational quality and global mobility. And I'm Dr. Merlin, Professor and Head Department of Pharmacology at Thishan College of Pharmaceutical Sciences. And today we are going to now I am going to discuss the impact of outcome-based education system on educational quality and global mobility. And first, let's discuss the educational system in India. And we know India is a developed country, and we have a lot of educational institutions, and the development of a country is one mode of assessing the development of a country is based on the various educational institution it has. And nowadays, we have so many educational institutions in our country. But if you see the admission status and the quality of the education provided in the colleges, only some prestigious institutions are able to provide the quality of education. And like in India, it offers various higher education courses like engineering, medical, paramedical, aviation, banking, law, arts and science, fashion designing, cine industry. And we have around 1,000 universities and 40,000 colleges. And India is ranking third in terms of size and diversity. And it is the largest education provider in the world. But in the international education scenario, if you are seeing, India is not able to compete with all the countries. And if you're seeing the outcome of the students, if you see the engineering graduates, around 15 lakh students are educated every year, but only 2.5 lakh students are getting their good job in technical domains. And only 3% of them are getting the job in very good places. And if you see the agriculture sector also, only 0.1 million students who graduate are getting the jobs. Actually, around 0.4 students are getting enrolled. And most of the students, after completing, they are joining the banking sector. So if you see the ranging, most of the students are not sticking on to the same profession they are studying, and they are not sticking, most of them are not getting the job. What's the reason for this? What's the reason for unemployment after getting educated in some institution? Actually, we are seeing two students having the same caliber. One may be getting joining in some prestigious institution in the country like IITs, and the other student, because of some family issues, they are not able to join in a prestigious institution and getting joining in a college nearby. At the end, what the difference we see is the student got placed in the who study in the prestigious institution. Even though their mark, what the grade she got is low, she'll be getting placed in higher institutions with good job placements. She'll be having placement in good high MNCs. She'll be moving globally. She'll be having global opportunities. But the student placed in the traditional education system, the marks scored will be very high, but the placement will be very less. So here we can compare the quality of education system in traditional and also the outcome-based education system. Or the problem faced is the student who studied in the prestigious education institution, they have followed the outcome-based education system, while the other who studied there, they have followed the traditional education system. So let's see what's the difference between the outcome-based education and traditional education system. If you see in the traditional education system, the teachers will be spending a lot of time to learn the syllabus of every subject. And their main outcome will be they have to score good mark in the examination, but the students is not getting knowledge. And because of this only, we are getting a serious problem of
unemployment. They just pass the knowledge of previous generation to the upcoming generation of students. There is no remodeling and restructuring we can see in the traditional education system. Even the most experienced teachers, even though they are very much experienced, they won't give the enthusiasm. They'll be just focusing on the syllabus, and it is dependent only on the theoretical aspects of learning. No practical knowledge is applied in the traditional education system. So, but if you see the outcome-based educational system, the students are made to think. We are giving them the outcome-based study. Even at the stage of entry, they are thinking after 4 year or 5 year, what I will be, in which position I will be, where I will be placed. Likewise, they are thinking, and the students is trained like that to meet the challenges of the present strategy. The 21st century challenges he will be able to face, and he will be trained like that. That is the basis of this outcome-based education. So what is this outcome-based education? It is an educational approach and learning philosophy. It focuses and organizes the entire academic program and instructional efforts, and we have the outcomes. Actually, here the teacher and students will be having the clarity, and the student will be having much communication skill. They will be having more than one method of learning. They'll be having different goals, they'll be having various visions, and the outcome-based education is student-centric, and teaching methodology will be to obtain the goals. They'll be having various projects. They are not only focusing on the syllabus, they are targeting their goal to come out with good placement skills. And in the outcome-based educational system, we have course outcome, program outcomes, and also the program educational outcomes. These three are mapped together to produce the good outcome. So the students who are studying in this outcome-based education system, they are having a global mobility. And if you see the Indian share in the students, the foreign students arriving to India is very less. That is only 0.85% of the students are coming to India for studying because of the poor quality of education what we can see in India. And also the students, only if less students are getting placed in good countries. That is also because of the poor educational system followed in most of the countries. And if you again see, we are grading, we are judging the students based on grading in case of traditional education system. But in case of outcome-based educational system, they are not graded based on their grades. They are judged based on their skills and the outcomes what they are going to produce. So the conclusion is, in traditional educational techniques, they used repetition, memorization of information to educate the students. They were not developing the thinking skills. They don't have problem solving skills. They don't have decision making skills. And the modern learning will be encouraging the students to be collaborative. They are more productive. And so it is better to include this outcome-based education system in all the countries to produce good outcome from the students, so that we will be getting a good, excellent community in the future. And we will be able to face the diversified global demands of the 21st century. So it's better if we recommend the higher education system, the outcome-based education system in all the higher education institutions to face the global challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Madeline. Questions from the audience, from the participants? Participants, if you have any questions, you can pose them now. If there's none, kindly join me in thanking Dr. Marilyn NJ for this very informative session on sharing, on talking about the importance of outcome-based education. Thank you so much, Dr. Madeline. Let's move on to the next speaker. The next speaker for the session is Dr. Nair Anup Chandrasekharan. He's Assistant Professor in English in Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara. Dr. Nair will be presenting a paper on musings on the new education policy heralding hope. Over to you, Dr. Anup.
Thank you, respected Chair. And dear friends, this is a very subjective take on the new education policy, and I'll be offering my comments on it. So as the Chair said, the title of the paper is Musings on the New Education Policy. It's heralding hope. Now, if I were to choose a quote from the new education policy document, it would be this one. Education must move towards less content and more towards learning about how to think critically and solve problems, how to be creative and multidisciplinary, and how to innovate, adapt, and absorb new material in novel and changing fields, unquote. So if you ask me, one of the most problematic issues that I found with the existing educational system, and as I told you, this is an assessment based on my personal suffering, is a way in which knowledge is somehow, these days, magically believed to reside in 3 watertight compartments for the students. That is, once you finish your SSLC or 10th standard, you're forced to choose either science or commerce. And if you are the dumbest of all, and I mean, that's again, as I said, it's from my personal experience, you are to take up humanities. That is a popular perception. That has been the popular perception since the time that I was in 12th. And I suppose somewhere it still continues. And I had this huge problem with how they define dumb at that point of time and even now. I believe this is all set to change with the new education policy, which proposes to melt the compartments to allow a student of science to take up, say, for instance, economics or politics also. A literature student, similarly, could opt for a course in physics or environmental science if he so chooses. Now, another interesting thing is the excessive importance that was always placed on the 10th and 12th standard board examinations, which still continues. It has always been a life and death matter on which the prestige of the entire family, or, if you use a Malayalam term, the kudumbam hinged. I remember in 12th standard, waking up at 5 in the morning and then going all droopy-eyed to the physics, chemistry, math, and biotuition classes and not being able to cope up with the pressure. The NEP is going to do the next generation a huge favor by doing away with the halo that surrounds the board exams, allowing the students to choose the subjects which they would like to give their exams. I believe NEP proposes to test core competencies rather than just being a memory test. And further on, there would be a chance, there would be a second chance to improve the board exam scores. And that is something that would be very interesting, very useful to students, to relieving the pressure. And then, we all know that there is this entrance examination to be cracked, for which one is supposed to go to the multi-million rupee successful candidate manufacturing coaching institutes. We have it in the north in Kota, we have in Kerala a place called Pala, where they drill in the required, I don't know, how do you put it, required software into the minds of the students, formulas that you can replicate to find yourself in leading positions in the national or the state rank list of higher educational institutions. National education policy plans to demystify these entrance examinations by removing the components that encourage rote learning, and the test shall be such, according to the proposal, which would include conceptual understanding and the ability to apply knowledge. So it will be application based, and that it will not be just mugging up data and, forgive me for using the term, vomiting out in the examination papers. And then again, the new academic structure of 5+3+3+4, that which NEP proposes, 2 is quite well thought of, is what I believe. There is this preparatory stage which focuses on the play and activity-based learning, which is supposed to give way to the experiential learning in math and science in the middle stages, followed by a multidisciplinary learning in the secondary stage. So initially you have the preparatory stage, which is activity-based, secondary stage, experiential learning, and then in the later stage, in the secondary stage, you have the multidisciplinary learning. So it's a very interesting progression that they plan. The next point, when I think of the next point, I'm reminded of the lines from Gulzar's first movie, Mere Apne. Is often quoted by everybody to laugh at the so-called educated unemployed. हाल चाल ठीक ठाक है, सब कुछ ठीक ठाक है, ये किया, MA किया, काम नहीं है वरना यहाँ आपकी दुआ है, सब कुछ ठीक ठाक है. Everything is perfect. I have done my BAs, I've done my MAs, just that I'm unemployed. Otherwise, with your blessings, everything is perfect. More interesting than the focus of the NEP on vocational education is a very beautiful proposal wherein during the classes from 6 to 8, the students need to do internship with the local carpenters, plumbers, etc., thus lending dignity to such professions and leading the students to a possible awareness of their potential to pursue such vocations in future. This would be, NEP proposes that this should be done every year during what it calls as 10 bagless days that the students would have. The students are not supposed to carry bags to the school at that point on those 10 days, and they are supposed to do internship with these people, the carpenters, the plumbers, etc. This would benefit a state like Kerala, where unemployment is high, but you'd still be hard-pressed to find a plumber or an electrician. And if you're lucky enough to find one, you're lucky enough to zero in on one, you would be charged exorbitant sums of money once he decides to oblige you. So then again, the way the progress of a child is to be evaluated is set to change dramatically with the national education policy. The report card of a student shall not just indicate his performance in the examination as evaluated by the teacher, but he himself will need to assess his progress, and his classmates too would be asked to mark him on the basis of the change that they've noticed in him. That's interesting, isn't it? The ancient Greek Delphic maxim we all know is know thyself. And this is possible, I believe, if this suggestion of the NEP gets into practice. And this is what the national education policy wants to happen to the students. There is something called Prakash, Performance Assessment, Review, and Analysis of Knowledge for the holistic development. It is a national assessment center to be set up according to NEP as a standard setting body, which will inform a uniformity of the standard across the country, hopefully. Another connected proposal is of the artificial intelligence-based software to help track the progress of the students to enable them to make optimal career choices. Because I don't know how many of the students are really aware, even in 10th standard or 12th standard, as to which is the best career option for them. So there is this artificial intelligence-based software that NEP proposes, which could really monitor the students and help them make optimal career choices. One of the most important commitments of the government is the decision to spend 6% of the GDP on education from the current 4%, and that is a quantum leap. The scope of the RTE, that is the right to education, or free and compulsory education, it's proposed to be increased from the present 6 to 14 years to 3 to 18 years. Then there is this proposed focus on early childhood care and education, because most of the mental development happens before the age of 8 years. And so schooling from 3 to 8 years is very important. And if NEP is to be implemented in toto, this is going to be a game changer, is what I believe. Another step in the right direction is doing away with the hard separation among the curricular, extracurricular, co-curricular, so there is this strict compartments into which they are divided. And, arts and humanities or sciences or vocational and academic, everything is put into strict watertight compartments, and that's going to melt now. And that's what the NEP says, that it's going to do away with these hard compartments. In addition, there is an interesting proposal which says that along with the midday meal scheme, the breakfast too is added. And I remember this Gujarati saying, which says that "Bhukhe pet bhajan na thai." That is, you cannot pray to God on an empty stomach. On a fuller stomach, with a good breakfast, I suppose the students would be incentivized to put in more effort as far as education is concerned, academics is concerned. The dropout ratio NEP proposes would be made 0, and in the next 10 years, it proposes that 100% students will be brought to the secondary level. There is this wonderful idea of the school complexes where the resources of the school would be pooled for the benefit of the students, and I believe that's a wonderful idea. The recruitment of para teachers, contractual appointments are to be discouraged, which I understand, especially in the northern India, you have a huge problem with this contractual appointments, and wherein the college, even in the southern states, I believe, there is this issue of the contractual appointments with paid measly salaries, and which obviously is going to affect quality education, and that is supposed to be, hopefully it is going to be discontinued. Teaching is to happen in home languages till grade 5, and it's proposed that the textbook should be made available in the home languages. However, this has been in the case, I believe, in the last 50 years, and the Kothari Commission of 86 too had put in the similar recommendation. An interesting point to note about in the NEP is the assertion that the 3-language formula will continue to be implemented, and that and there is this hue and cry that the languages XYZ language is going to be implemented across the country, but I don't think that is true, because NEP categorically says that no language will be implemented on any state, and the 3 languages learned by children will be the choice of the states themselves. Even for higher education, it is stressed that the mother tongue or the local language should be used as a medium of instruction, and I quote, and or offer programs bilingually in order to increase access and GER, there is a gross enrollment ratio, and also to promote the strength, usage, and vibrancy of all Indian languages, unquote.
So sorry to interrupt you, sir. Your time, we are on a time constraint.
Okay, fine. Should I wind up? Yeah. So again, like I'll just 10 seconds. So then again, interesting detail is the focus on the indigenous, the tribal knowledge, indigenous knowledge systems. That's one thing that I was planning to talk on. Then there is this idea about how the twinning of and pairing of the public and with the private sector. That's again, an interesting proposal there. And other than this, I suppose secularism is a word that, and diversity is something that you find plays throughout the document. So what NEP is hopes to do is foster the diversity and encourage it in multiple possible ways, and that's something that you find found across the document. Because of the time constraint, I think I will conclude. So there is this mantra that NEP says, light but tight, and I suppose reading the document is a very interesting exercise, and I found it quite enriching. It has many merits, and as an effective implementation of the same, I believe, would bring about a paradigm shift in the educational scenario of the country. Thank you, Chair, and I'm really sorry if I've exceeded the time limit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anup. Since there is no questions in the chat box, I think we can move on to the next speaker. But before that, thank you so much, Dr. Anup, for sharing your thoughts on the new education policy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
The next speaker who will be presenting her paper is Dr. Lynette Joseph, Assistant Professor in Physics at Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara. And she will be presenting a paper on incorporation of national education policy parameters, matrices in NAAC reaccreditation framework, opportunities and challenges for affiliated colleges.
Good afternoon, everyone. Tracia, Miss, can you see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Your presentation is visible and you're audible.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to present have a short presentation on the topic incorporation of NEP parameters, metrics in NAAC RAF, the opportunities and challenges for affiliated colleges. It was in March 2021 that the new metrics in NEP was introduced, was incorporated in the NAAC RAF manual for universities. But later in December 2021, the new NEP parameters were included also in the NAAC RAF manual of all the institutions, all types of institutions. So in this context, I would like to have a discussion on how this new incorporation of these NEP parameters in the NAAC RAF manual of affiliated colleges will affect, or what are the opportunities and challenges for affiliated colleges while this implementation of NEP parameters or metrics will be there in the NAAC RAF manual, NAAC RAF. Earlier, we had only 5 sections for while we submit the SSR in the part section B. It was executive summary, profile of the institution, extended profile of the institution, the quality indicator framework, and data templates. And but from now, 2021 December onwards, there is another additionally we have to submit one more data requirement is there, and it is 2A, institutional preparedness for NEP. So let us move on to see what are the questions or metrics they are asking in this. They are required, the data required, and it is mainly focused on 6 sub-criterion: multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary approach, academic bank of credits, skill development, appropriate integration of Indian knowledge system, focus on outcome-based education, distance education, online education. And in the multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary initiatives, they ask for the initiatives of the institution in transforming itself into a holistic multidisciplinary institution. And another, these are the different questions, or what we say metrics. They are seeking data. Initiatives for integration of humanities, science with science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and implementation of programs with combinations. Then credit-based courses and projects in the area of community engagement and service environmental education, and value-based towards attainment of a holistic and multidisciplinary education. Plans to engage in more multidisciplinary research endeavors to find solutions to society's most pressing issues and challenges. And in these 4 metrics, I see that affiliated colleges has their own role to play, as they have the opportunity to select new generation affiliated courses. Also, we have the freedom to design certificate and add-on courses, and projects can be given in the area of community engagement and service, environmental education, value-based topics, or towards holistic and multidisciplinary education. The affiliated institutions can have a great role to play. Also, multidisciplinary research possibilities can be explored to find solutions to needs of society and community. And actually, we are presenting this data in various other criterion of the NAAC RAF. But the next metric in that sub-criterion is plan for multidisciplinary flexible curriculum that enables multiple entry and exits at first, second, and third years of undergraduate education while maintaining the rigor of learning. And we have to explain with examples. So I don't see that affiliated colleges have something to do in this, because we are restricted to design the curriculum of, since this curriculum is being framed by the university, in this metric, we have only limited scope. And the second, coming to the second metrics in this NEP parameters, they are asking the initiatives taken by the institution to fulfill the requirement of academic bank of credits as proposed in NEP 2020, and whether the institution has registered under the academic bank of credits to permit its learners to avail the benefit of multiple entries and exit during the chosen program. And the efforts of the institution for seamless collaboration, internalization of education, joint degrees between Indian and foreign institutions so as to enable credit transfer. Also, these metrics, we have only limited scope for the affiliated colleges, because as far as credit transfer or academic bank of credits are concerned, These all can be designed and developed by universities only. And what we are following the university schedule, university curriculum only. Affiliated colleges are following the university curriculum itself as such. So these metrics are really a challenge for affiliated colleges. And there are, in the same sub-criterion, academic bank of credits, they are asking how faculties are encouraged to design their own curricular and pedagogical approaches within the approved framework, including textbook, reading materials, sections, assignments, and assessments, and also any good practice of the institution pertaining to the implementation of ABC in the institution in the view of NEP 2020. Here only we have some scope for our improvement, and that is we can have teachers, we can motivate and encourage our teachers to participate in board of studies, academic council, etc. Our teachers can prepare reading materials, study materials, etc. based on holistic development or a multidisciplinary approach. And also assignments and assessments can be made more outcome based so that skill development or such factors can be achieved. And the third sub-criterion is skill development. The skill development, the different metrics under this sub-criterion are efforts made by the institution to strengthen the vocational education and soft skills of students in alignment with the National Skills Qualification Framework. And the details of the program so far to promote vocational education and its integration into mainstream education. Then the metric it is how the institution is providing value-based education to inculcate positivity amongst the learners based on ethical, constitutional, and many other human values, and how the institution engages the services of industry veterans and master craftspersons to provide vocational skills and overcome gaps through trained faculty provisions, to offer vocational education in through open distance learning, blended on-campus modular modes to learners. These are all some of the areas where the institutions have the scope for improvement. We can have also some other metrics in this skill development sub-criterion are NSDC association to facilitate all this by creating a unified platform to manage learner environment. That is NSDC. National Skill, it is the National Skill Development Corporation. Then skilling courses are planned to be offered to students through online and or distance mode. So there are such questions in this skill development sub-criterion, and in this sub-criterion, affiliated college has something to do. That is, we can design our certificate courses based on the competency-based framework that enables students to acquire desired competency levels. And also we can frame some courses like LED installation, certification course in data and trade office automation, diploma in installation and repair of consumer electronic products, etc., which is mainly based on skill development and vocational training. Also, we can promote our students to enroll and in and ask them to complete courses offered by National Skill Quality Framework and other NSDC courses. Another metric in coming under this sub-criterion is how to whether the institution design a credit structure to ensure that all students take at least one vocational course before graduating. But as far as an affiliated college is concerned, we can't design a credit course to make sure that students take at least one vocational course before graduating. We can only offer them optional certificate courses. So this has only limited scope for affiliated colleges. Then the fourth sub-criterion is appropriate integration of Indian knowledge system, teaching in Indian language, culture using online course. And the metrics that come under this sub-criterion are delineate the strategy and details regarding the integration of the Indian knowledge system. And what are the institution plans to train its faculties to provide classroom delivery in bilingual mode, and to provide the details of the degree courses taught in Indian languages and bilingually in the institution. And here the affiliated colleges has something to do. We can do or plan something in this, because affiliated or certificate programs are there existing in languages, regional languages. Also, faculty can develop online courses in vernacular languages. And we can have many initiatives to promote regional languages. And under this sub-criterion itself, they're asking the efforts on the following. That is how the institution promotes the Indian languages, Indian ancient traditional knowledge, Indian arts, Indian culture and traditions, and also to describe any good practice of the institution pertaining to the appropriate integration of Indian knowledge system in the view of new NEP. So here we have a large scope for the affiliated colleges, because making use of the extension clubs, forums and associations, we can promote all our Indian languages and culture and arts. Now coming to the
Sorry to interrupt you,
okay, Miss. I'll speed up. Okay. Coming to the fifth one, it is how far the institution focus on outcome-based education. And here also the institutions can do a lot. We can focus ourselves on outcome-based education. And the last sub-metric is how distance education and online education is facilitated. And here the faculty members can be encouraged to develop online courses in their subjects. ICT-enabled teaching advantages of blended learning can also be used judiciously. And the conclusion is that great opportunity is there for affiliated colleges as far as quality enhancement is concerned, while the new NEP metrics are being implemented in the NAAC RAF. But before a good number of metrics, affiliated colleges stay helpless. So with the statement of Vivek Devroy, the Indian economist, I would like to wind up my session. The new regulatory system envisioned by this policy will foster this overall culture of empowerment and autonomy to innovate, including by gradually phasing out the system of affiliated colleges over a period of 15 years through a system of graded autonomy, and to be carried out in a challenge mode. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lynette. Questions in the chat box? As there are none, we'll move on to the next speaker. Thank you so much, Dr. Lynette, in sharing new information with us. Thank you so much.
Prasya, Miss, are you muted?
Oh, thank you, ma'am. The next speaker who will be presenting a paper is Mr. Ramesh Koikil, Assistant Professor, Lovely Professional University, Punjab, and he'll be presenting a paper on new learning tools required in online education, a case study on higher education. Over to you, sir. Ramesh, sir?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, I will just make my slide share. I would like to do my slide share.
Sure, sir. You can share your screen. You can share your presentation.
Is it visible?
No, sir.
There is some problem with the...
So you can use the share screen option.
Yeah, I know, I've done it, but then there is some issues with this. I think some connectivity issues. No, I think I have some connectivity issue. It's okay. Leave it.
Sir, is it possible to send the PPT by mail? While sir get connected, shall we move on to the next?
Yeah, you can move on. Can I send it to the WhatsApp group?
WhatsApp? Yeah, please send it in the WhatsApp. WhatsApp, no problem.
Yeah.
By that time, let the next presenter.
Yeah, let the next person do it. Let the next person do it.
Okay. Since Ramesh sir has some connectivity issues, we'll move on to the next speaker for the session. The next speaker is Dr. Ashish Varghese, Assistant Professor in Commerce, Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara. He will be presenting a paper on role of SAC in improving the quality of higher education institutions in Kerala, a case study of Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara. Over to you, sir. Ashish sir, are you there? Ashish sir?
So please try to unmute, sir.
Thank you.
Ashish sir, you are joined. Please try to unmute your microphone, sir.
Sir, are you ready? Ashish sir, are you ready?
Oh, sorry for Maggie.
Sir will be joining in a few seconds.
Sir, Prasiamis, by that time, this PPT of Ramesh sir is now ready. We can continue.
Is it
Resume
ready,
that.
ma'am?
Yeah,
Can you share it?
yeah. I'll share that screen now. Okay. By the time Ashish sir joins.
Okay, okay. Ramesh sir, is that okay? Ramesh sir, your presentation is ready.
Prasiamis, then Ashish sir or Ramesh sir, anyone is ready now? Then please move on to the next one.
Okay, we can move on to the next presentation in that case. The next speaker is Dr. Anil Patel. Yeah, he is ready. Okay. So
Shall I start?
Yeah, kindly introduce. I'll introduce, sir.
Sure.
The next speaker with us today is Dr. Anil Patel. He is from Vidya Pratisthan Kamal Nayan Bajaj Institute of Engineering Technology, Baramati, Pune, and he will be presenting a paper on innovative practices for placement and becoming a professional in higher education institutes. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Chairperson, honorable dignitaries, my faculty, community friends. Thank you. Let me thank the organizing committee for providing this opportunity to me. I am Anil Patel. I teach English communication skills, soft skills, and the thoughts I am going to present today are mostly subjective and factual information. Let me start with the permission of the chairperson. I think it is necessary for each institute to provide proper solutions to the students to make them corporate ready, placement ready, job ready. And that is why I'm going to share a few of my observations. I consider that providing a permanent solution to challenges is the key. And that is why we need to give proper emphasis on improving our teachers' approach towards English communication. We have observed in many institutes, we focus on the assessment of students, but it is the necessity of the time that we need to assess the teachers. Of course, qualification is fine, they qualify and get jobs, but continuous assessment for teachers is also necessary, not only in the subjects, but in terms of communication in English as well. I believe that if the teachers' communication skills are up to the mark, then students will be ready, they will get motivated to learn and master English. That is why the target should be the improving of teachers' English and communication skills. And if we talk about the job of students, then we do not have to train the students separately. They will get exposure in the classrooms only through the teachers. We need to have the target to make the learners aware about the importance of improving their mother tongue as well. Many of the previous presenters talked about the national education policy. I'm really happy to know about it. And let me tell you, the NEP 2020 has also focused on the native languages, importance of native languages. And if we are able, if learners feel that I'm good at my mother tongue, then obviously that kind of motivation inspires us to know and master the target language, that is English, for many of us. Our target should be to tell students stories in English and skillfully relate. We should be able to relate those stories with the day-to-day life activities. This activity will surely enhance the thinking skills, and they will be able to understand that yes, we can also do this. And we talk about analytical skills, creativity, and surely telling the stories will help them develop these skills. Realization of importance of effective communication skills for learners and instructors is crucial. The fact here is we need to realize the fact that English is a language and not a subject. Unfortunately, we think that it is a job of only English teacher to improve the communication skills or English of the students. So it is a language. My request to all the teachers, faculty colleagues, faculty teachers will be that we need to learn this language, master this language, and then spread the correct usage to our students so that they will reasonably understand the language. And in this way, we can support the entire student community to learn the language, pick up the language easily.
Speaker is not working.
If we talk about this, we obviously, if we prepare this path in our institutions, certain activities like role play, individual presentations, means students presentations, group presentations, necessity of mastering language skills. We talk about language skills like listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And we need to add one more skill, that is thinking skill. If we are able to teach these language through English, in any language, in mother tongue, if we are able to tell them, yes, there is a procedure, right? As we learn our first language, mother tongue, through this, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, this is a process, right? We need to adopt the same method while teaching English as well. The next is requirement of institutional efforts to improve listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So there have to be some clubs, movie clubs, reading clubs. And through these clubs, we can enhance our students' English communication skills. And there need to be some peer group activities so that students and learners can surely develop their communication abilities. If we are able to do this, surely we can increase the placement of all the students. Not only the placement, they will be able to feel that, yes, I can start my own companies, I can survive anywhere, right? So surely these activities and practices will boost the confidence of the students community, and surely they will be able to get good jobs everywhere. I'm thankful to the organizers, the chairperson, for this opportunity and sharing my views. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Anil, for the lovely presentation. Questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, any questions? You can post in the chat box. Looks like there's no question. It's been a long day.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anil, for sharing with us your presentation on innovative practices for placement and becoming a professional in higher education institution. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the next speaker. Next speaker is Dr. Ramesh. Dr. Ramesh, are you there with us?
Yes, I'm there, but it says disabled the screen share. I don't know why it is disabled.
You're not able to share your screen?
Yeah, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh,
That was a problem 2 times.
No, sir, yeah, you can share it now. You have the provision. You have given the privilege to share screen now. Now it was there already.
Okay.
You are the co-host of the program now.
Okay.
Have you entered from the name Ramesh?
Yeah.
Okay, sir, you are the co-host. You can, otherwise I will share the screen for you, sir.
Yeah, you can do it for me if it is.
Yeah, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
participants, next speaker. Mr.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, all of you. I'm assistant professor from lovely Professional University, Punjab, Jalandhar. More of experience in industry. I'm basically from hospitality and tourism industry most of my life. And last 6 years, I'm into teaching in various colleges. And right now I'm in Punjab, a lovely Professional University. Very new to research, of course. But then today I'm going to shed some light on, there are so many eminent speakers and scholars who have discussed here. That's great to be a part of it. Today, my topic is just the new learning tools required in online education, a case study on higher education. So if we look at the current scenario, the education system has changed drastically because of the COVID pandemic, which has put stress on so much of millions of people. And the most affected industries are like education, one of the biggest thing. And I'm part of hospitality and tourism. So that is another industry. But basically, let me talk about education. So many millions of students' life is misplaced or displaced. And they face so much of challenges. We are talking about so many types of outcome-based, education and different modes of tools of education. But the best thing comes to my mind is all the families in India are ready to give the gadgets to the students or their ward to undertake this higher education? Is it possible for everyone to afford to a laptop or a mobile for each their ward? Which is a big challenge for a developing country like India. Of course, we are far ahead. There are so many other countries which are far behind us. So that's a real challenge. So let me go into the topic. Now, here the new tools, the actual tools when we use for offline education. Offline education, we usually had, because it is having a physical, mind to mindset of student and facilitator. That's a very good thing to impart knowledge to a student. But that part is missing when it comes to online. And now it's more important is hybrid. Some are in the class and some are in the online. It's still difficult for the facilitators. So this analysis and study is basically the objective mainly is to understand the methodology, the pedagogy, the change that we need in our outcomes. And also the effect of online hybrid mode of education. And how these changes, it is more changes to the even students psychologically. It's putting so much of pressure on them. And not only the students, it's also giving so much of disturbances and so much of change from the point of view of a facilitator. He has to bring in so much of different levels because of pedagogy. When you change, you have different types of students. Some are high learners, some are high performers, low performers, fast learners, slow learners. And also there are medium type of students who are just in between. Now, how are we going to use different pedagogy? Okay, I can understand we can use flip classes, we can use images, videos, good presentations, and some good brainstorming discussions. Everything I do understand. But how are we going to switch between the different type of student outcomes? Because when the student itself is a slow learner and a fast learner, and it's quite difficult. Outcome to give it to the student is quite difficult from the facilitator. Until we have to come out with something different, even an assessment, a weekly assessment we usually take, or a bi-weekly assessment we usually take to find out where our students are registered. But even that seems to be sometimes not enough, because there are some students who are low performers and slow learners. I think we are not doing justice to them also sometimes. So this study basically takes into consideration the global education system. So when I talk about global education system, this study I am going to conduct based in Jalandhar, because I am based in Jalandhar, even though I was born and brought up in Mavelikara. But I am basically now in education system in Jalandhar. And so this questionnaire and everything, and the methodology, everything is based on the sampling in the Jalandhar city, and which I am going to apply to India and the global arena, so that to find out what is actual change we require, what type of pedagogy we require. Is it sufficient pedagogy that we are using right now? It's enough. So I'm trying to give questionnaires of around 100 questionnaires or to the people, to find out, to the students also, to the facilitator also, and try to find out what is the change they require. Are they happy with? Of course, I think from my side, I feel that students, they are into a real psychological condition, because of stress. And this I'm going to conduct in Jalandhar, of course. And also, the scope of the study is, again, trying to find out the methodology that the facilitator is going to use, what changes he wants to bring into the education system, or might be to reach a teaching based on outcome, to give the outcome. And does the student really get the essence of the teaching? So I do understand that the research is conducted in one small area, and it's applied globally. So there might be a limitation. And also there can be a limitation because what we are talking about is India. And then India, of course, education, some are good, some are okay. But then when I apply it globally, there is a slight switch there also. So these are the limitations that I really find, which will hinder. And the review of the literature, again, the details on the topic, the contribution from various research papers, which I already have done my work, and it's very evident that this pedagogy and things are not enough to reach out into a different types of student segment. Okay, fast learners I can reach, but what about slow? Still a big question mark. So we have to find an answer for it until it's too late, because they are going in progression to the career level. Almost 1.5 years we have passed into the COVID. And next is another 1.5 years, they are into the career. And we are still far behind. And at least we can, put them into the right direction, into the career. And, that is what is my aim. And the questionnaires here are based to understand whether the facilitator is using a flip class, quiz, brainstorming interactions, and we are applying it in large scale. And also, we will see how the student group is accepting it. Is all the group getting the benefit of it, or is there some switch in between? Just a minute.
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Sorry, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Your time's almost.
Okay. My time is up. Okay. Right, no problem. I'll just try to conclude. So this is my research, and I think I should not take too long. So maybe next is a thank you note. So thank you so much. Nothing else? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir,
Thank you.
for sharing with us your paper on new learning tools required in online education. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dr. Ashish Varghese, Assistant Professor in Commerce, Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara. He'll be presenting a paper on role of SAC in improving the quality of higher education institutions in Kerala, a case study of Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present a paper. So my title of the paper is The Role of SAC in Improving the Quality of Higher Education in Kerala, a case study of Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara. SAC is formed by Kerala State Higher Education Council. Since education is in the concurrent list, state also has to take the responsibility of maintaining the quality of higher education. That is why SAC was formed in 2019. So preliminary, it aims at developing the higher education institutions to maintain high quality and also to attain high grades in national rankings. So even though it is introduced in 2019, initially there was a very low response. So far, only 2 colleges have completed the SAC accreditation process. It mainly because of the fact that it is compulsory process, but the institution has a period of 6 years to complete it. So it may be one of the reasons institutions have 6 years, but again, there is a slow response for the SAC. At the same time, government has not yet announced any special benefits for the higher education institution that get high ranks or get accredited through SAC. And there is also some rumors, there is chance for unnecessary political or bureaucratic influence in the case of SAC, since it is a state or regional case. Okay. Then stating about the difference between SAC and NAAC, it is the philosophy of SAC and NAAC is almost same. Their objective is to enable the higher education institution for attaining the desired quality. So compared to SAC, NAAC, SAC has 3 more criteria. First 7 criteria are same. The next three criteria of SAC are ensuring social inclusiveness, striving for equity and excellence, and fostering scientific temper and secular outlook. So these are the 3 more area in which we have to go for if we go for the SAC accreditation, and it is giving importance to regional preferences. So since my case is a case study, so I'm presenting about the SAC accreditation of Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara. So first is presentation of the preparation for the accreditation. Bishop Moore College has considered the accreditation process seriously, but at the same time, the college has an objective of preparing itself for the next accreditation, NAAC accreditation process. So, and the college has not faced much difficulties because the college is preparing for NARF every year. But SAC accreditation is equally all the phase of SAC accreditation. We have to do all the activities similar to NAAC. So it is not an easy task. It is almost same as NAAC accreditation. So then coming to the SAC visit. So SAC visit peer team, they were a very eminent personality. It was one of the criticisms about the SAC is that SAC team may be a SAC visit, may be a visit for the namesake, but very eminent personalities visited the Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara, and there was no political interference. And the progression of the peer team visit is also same as the NAAC, like a presentation by the principal, IQAC coordinator, department presentation, then visit to the department and college facilities, visiting with the interaction with alumni, PTA, etc. And the difference in SAC and NAAC is we observed is SAC team is more friendly compared to the NAAC peer team. So, and the next one is, though the team critically evaluate the quality of education, their approach is to help the institution for future improvements. So, in every area of SAC visit, they are making certain suggestions. The peer team is accompanied by staff of Kerala State Higher Education Council, and they take care of all the external arrangements needed for the SAC visit. The first day, the team of experts from Higher Education Council visited the college and critically verified all the documents. At the same time, they made certain suggestions also. That is again a difference between SAC and NAAC. So the question is the accreditation beneficial? In the point of view of Bishop Moore College, we got a chance to interact with eminent personalities. That is, can be considered as the highest benefit for going the SAC. And their suggestions are highly beneficial for the organization for attaining more heights. And the second one is the long-term relationship with the Kerala State Higher Education Council authorities, and we are expecting some help from the higher education authorities. So then, and at the same time, Kerala State Higher Education Council also arranged an interaction with the IQAC team of the college to discuss about the chances of improvement of different areas. These are the benefits, and at the same time, another important advantage of SAC accreditation is at international level, higher education institutions with multiple accreditation has more acceptance. So most of the colleges are going for multiple accreditation nowadays, expecting more preference from Higher Education Council and Government of Kerala. This is the expectation, but not yet materialized. So, in the beneficial, SAC accreditation is beneficial in terms of interaction with eminent personalities and support of the staff, but sincerely, it is the responsibility of the Higher Education Council to support the higher education institutions to improve the quality. And for getting such a support, compulsory SAC accreditation seems to be meaningless, because it consists of so many financial burden is there. Therefore, actually, higher education institutions have to get such a support, even though the SAC is not formed. So my final conclusion, SAC has not taken the initiative of ranking the higher education institution. One of the objectives of SAC is to rank the higher education institutions in Kerala, like Kerala Institutional Ranking Framework. So that simple process of ranking may give more acceptance to SAC among the higher education institution. But it is started, they have not yet started the ranking of higher education institution in Kerala. At the same time, since the SAC accreditation cannot replace the NAAC accreditation, the compulsory SAC accreditation is meaningful only if the government is able to provide some specific benefit to the institutions, like new courses or more financial support, etc. Otherwise, SAC accreditation seems to be very meaningful. So in a nutshell, we can conclude that SAC accreditation is highly beneficial for improving the quality of higher education institution, because we can get a good interaction with the higher education authorities. But SAC shall not be compulsory, but it can concentrate on the selected institution for attaining their quality goals. In my opinion, the compulsory SAC accreditation may not be that much helpful. At the same time, Kerala Institutional Ranking Framework may be more useful, as it can be used as a benchmark for providing financial helps to higher education institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish. Thank you very much, sir, for presenting this paper. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the next speaker. The next speaker is Dr. Austin Joseph. Dr. Austin Joseph is faculty at Flywings College, and today he will be presenting a paper on new education policy.
Very good afternoon. Is it audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Is it audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. So now I'm going to At the outset, let me express my thanks to our respected principal, vice principal, coordinators, and all the faculty members for giving an opportunity to make presentation on new education policy in India. So now, education is a basic ingredient for achieving full human potential. So everyone knows it that the new education, before new education policy was launched in 29th July 2020. But before that, in 1968, we were following the 10+2 system. The 10+2 structure of school education was.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Is there any slide presentation?
I have already sent the slide.
Okay. The slide is not being shared yet.
I have already sent that.
Kindly wait, sir.
Okay. Even without slide, I can go. So in 1968, 10+2 structure was introduced by government of India. Yeah, clear is there. Exactly. So this system consists of schooling is 12 up to 10 years, and after that they will do 2 years in higher secondary school, or in Kerala it was a pre-degree course. Later on it was replaced by higher secondary education. But before 1968, there was a system in Kerala also. That is, 11 years we will have to spend in school and 1 year in the school, that's pre-university course, then 3 years the graduation route. That means 11 plus 1 plus 3, that is 15 years a student can spend there in order to achieve the graduation degree. So the new policy also also has given the same structure, but the only thing is different only. On the basis of the committee, the Suran committee and the Subramanian committee, the government of India has introduced the new system education policy on 29th July 2020 for fulfilling the vision of India's new education structure. Then what is the aim of the policy? The aim of the policy, primary education should be given to all the people in India by 2025. Now, it is proposed to bring a curriculum here. The new system is the preschool foundation stage, that is 5 years. And after 5 years, they will have to go to preparatory stage, that is 3 years, the age between 8 and 12. 8 and 11, and they will study class 3 to 5. Again, they will have to go to middle stage, that is 3 years, age 11 to 14, class 6 to 8. And the last stage is the secondary stage, 4 years, age between 14 and 18, class 9 to 12. So this is the new policy. And what is the aim of the objectives of education is to develop equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing quality of education to all the people in our country. So that is the main objective. And when you come to salient features, you can see the new education policy. They wanted to they would like to stop all the AICT function and UGC function. And all the higher education should come under one umbrella, that is Higher Education Council. So that is what they are doing. And they, in new education policy, they have abolished MPhil classes also. And they have given more importance on vocational education. So why should they give vocational education in schools and colleges? Of course, they have insisted that vocational education should be given to the primary, upper primary, or middle stage school children, because when they come out, they will not search for the job, or they should get the job without any problem, because they know because of skill-based education, they knew the knowledge and skill and practical knowledge they have. Therefore, they need not worry about the employment purpose. That is why skill-based education they have formed. And another one advantage in this new education, interdisciplinary general education is there. What is interdisciplinary education means? Here, a student can select according any subject according to his taste and ability. There is no compulsion there. So they can choose commerce, they can choose economics and home economics, or they can choose economics and computer. So that means they can opt according to their own ability and choice. They can. That is what the interdisciplinary education. So here it means another one thing is, if a student completes first year, then the certificate will be given. And the same student complete second year, the advanced diploma can be given. And the third year, the license will be given. And the fourth year, license and research will be given to students. So actually, the aim of education is to help the students, because sometimes the students, they will complete 1 year. After that, sometimes they may not have money to spend second year. Doesn't matter, they can go for job. But university will provide certificate for first year, and the university will then complete second year advanced diploma course, and the university will give license and this. So that is an advantage of the interdisciplinary system. So that is why, and now I have already told you, the new system regulation means always all higher education system will constitute as a body, and all the higher educations will come under one umbrella only. It means National Higher Education Regulatory Council to regulate all the system. That is the advantage of the new education system. And now when it comes to the 2022 new education policy, they are insisting skill-based education. And also they are insisting three-language formula, because three-language formula we have. Now, so mother tongue is the mother tongue, they will have to learn mother tongue. Students should learn mother tongue. And that is a very important one. So three-language formula is there. Then skill-based education is there. And the digitalization, more important, because nowadays very, very, very important, because the computer system, then the internet facilities will be there, so that the students can use all those things there in order to increase their knowledge. And the blockchain education for data entry. What is the blockchain data entry means? Nowadays, with the clerical error, so many clerical errors there. But new education policy said all things, if it is computerized, there will not be any problem. Whenever they want to get any file, past records, so the blockchain is there. And safeguarding innovations and IPR, intellectual property rights, should be protected, because if any lecturer or any person conducts any experiment or anything, it should be, of course, it will be related with intellectual property rights. We have to be, what is the right means? The inventor should get rights from the authority, that is intellectual property rights. If the lecturer invented the new innovation, then the right should be given to the creator, the inventor. That is an intellectual property rights. So these are the main policy of the new education system, new education day, and it is approved by Government of India, and our Modi government has approved all those things. This is the new education policy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Austin.
Thank you
for a wonderful presentation. As there's no questions in the chat box, we'll move on to the next speaker, Mr. Rahul Jacob Kuruvilla, Assistant Professor in Commerce, Bishop Moore College. He will be presenting a paper on student support system in higher education. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible, Miss?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes,
your presentation is visible too.
Is it? It's visible. Okay. All right. Okay, so my topic is, as Principal just said, it is student support system in higher education. This paper is done by me, Mr. Rahul Jacob Kuruvilla, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Bishop Moore College, and Mrs. Asha Miriam Thomas, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Bishop Moore College. So in this era of education, one second, my slide is not moving. Okay, yeah. So in this era of education, according to Hill, an educationalist in America, she says there are two important things that are important when it comes to education. One is quality of teachers, two is student support services provided by institutions. Now, as we go forward, introduction to student support system. It is the positive relationship between educators and students, thereby increasing the attachment of students towards the institution. The parties involved are students, institution resources like teachers, management, non-teaching staff, etc. The family of students, that is the PTA, we call it, and the society that is involved in it. These are the parties involved when it comes to student support system and its development. Definition of student support system. This is my own definition. Any system which supports students to improve their performance in education and develop their character as a whole. So whatever an institution or whatever a college can offer to students in order to improve their performance in academics, curriculars, extracurriculars, as well as character is known as student support system. The objective of the study is to understand the relevance of an efficient student support system and also identify the means of its implementation in higher education institutions. The second objective is to determine the various student support system activities in higher education institution as the student progresses from admission to graduation in an institution. So the first objective, so the relevance of student support system has been classified into three. Now, in this study, I have classified student support system into three: academic, personal, and intellectual. The academic aspects are the subjects or the curriculum that the students learn. The personal aspects are the demographic aspects like the age, the gender, the background, the family, etc. of a student. And the intellectual aspect is the mental capacity of the student to understand and solve problems. So these are three important areas that student support system of a college should focus on when it comes to developing a student. Now, all these three areas have been explained in detail. The academic aspects are well-defined syllabus, enriched library, research facilities, online learning facilities, feedback forums, etc. Personal are counseling resources, sports and cultural facilities, career guidance services, other essentials like accommodation, food, logistics or transport, banking, medical, etc. And the intellectual aspects are real-world interactions, peer group learning, student forums and clubs, social awareness drives, case studies in relevant topics, etc. So a student support system in higher education should be focused in these three dimensions in order to develop a student on the whole. Now, this is the process of a student from admission to graduation. What all are the services which we can give to a student or we can provide for a student once he is admitted to the college up till he graduates from it? When it comes to admissions, three levels are there: pre-admission, during admission, and post-admissions. A lot of services should be provided. Like, say, for instance, you need to provide the student how to get admission in a college, which is the course, what all are the requirements, etc. These should be clearly communicated so that the students will have enough support to work in the system. After the student is being admitted, the next step is teaching and learning, where teachers have to provide innovative techniques and advanced learning techniques, blended learning and active learning strategies in order to engage students to learn whatever they have to learn. Then after teaching learning, the next process that a student goes through is co-curriculars and extracurricular activities. Co-curriculars assist the syllabus, and extracurriculars focus on developing the character of the student. Co-curriculars examples are being a part of the quiz club or the entrepreneurship club or the innovation club. Extracurricular activities are being a part of NCC, NSS, etc. Now, after this, learner assessment and evaluation. Now, in the fourth stage of a student entering a college, that student should be provided enough opportunities to be assessed and evaluated by various innovative as well as traditional techniques by using certain of these. Like model exams should be provided, quizzes should be provided, real-time situations should be provided, so that he will be able to assess himself and put into practice whatever he has learned. Then after that, personal and career counseling. Students come from various backgrounds. They will need enough assistance in order to mentally and emotionally prepare or be a part of an institution. So students with such difficulties should be given counseling, and every student should be offered career counseling so that they might not go astray after their graduation. And after graduation also, the liability of the institution is not over. The liability of the institution will be over only once the student has been placed somewhere and has been successful in life. So that process, so after graduation also, it is very important that a student support system is being provided. You should give that such students job opportunities as well as alumni facilities to be a stakeholder of the institution he has studied. Then the importance of website development and student support system. All these six I will say in a sentence. In order to improve all the student support service systems throughout the college, a good website should be provided, so that in this digital era, students can easily access the college from wherever they are. They should be given user support, instructions, course content, learning and tutoring, learning assessment and evaluation, and other facilities online. So let me conclude. Where does student support system stand today in educational institutions? Student support system should be implemented in every educational institution, as in today's world, academic performance alone will not help a student to stand at the top. We can find that every institution is keen in providing some services. I suggest that it should be considered as an important tool for the development in the institution. As far as NAAC is concerned, the criterion 5 is a very important criterion where they focus on student support and progression. And if you provide all these, it might help you to improve on your criterion 5. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Rahul sir. You have spoken on a very important topic of student support system. Thank you so much for an informative session. Next speaker we have with us is Ms. Sobia Sharma. Ms. Sobia Sharma is Assistant Professor, Dayanand Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Kurukshetra, Haryana, and she will be presenting a paper on innovation. Ms. Sobia, over to you.
Warm good evening to all of you. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Is my screen visible, ma'am?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay, ma'am. Wait. Ma'am, please, can you start my PPT?
Have you shared it? Sobia ma'am, have you shared your PPT with us?
Should I share the PPT?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Is Sobia online?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Should I share the PPT for you?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So today my PPT topic is innovation, a study of Mishu, an innovative company. Ma'am, PPT is not visible.
It is visible, ma'am. Innovation, a study of Mishu. It's visible.
Okay, ma'am. First of all, introduction of innovation. The main aim of company is to earn profit in a long run and survive in a today cutthroat competition. And company can achieve their target only with help of innovation. Innovative company are competitive and profitable in today age. So we can say innovation is important for sustainable development of any business. So meaning of innovation, the word innovation is derived from Latin word innovare, which means to renew. Innovation is about putting an idea or approach into an action. Innovation means to replace or to improve something, for example, a process, product, or an services. And what is type of innovation? Process improvement and organization innovation. It is a type of innovation and improvement of process through continuous improvement and development of new solutions. Second is product development, the development of innovative product or product features. Service innovations means creation of new services for its customer for better long-term customer relation. And next is business model innovation, the development of innovative business models and new revenue stream through continuous research. So this is a types of innovations. Then now we can move to a study of Mishu, which is an innovative company. Mishu, an innovative company of India. Mishu is Indian origin social commerce platform. It is founded by IIT Delhi graduate Videt Atre and Sanjeev Barnwal in December 2015. It enables small business and individuals to start their online stores via social channels such as WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. It is headquartered in Bangalore, India. In June 2019, Mishu became Indian first startup to receive investment from Facebook. Mishu is one of India's largest social commerce platform. It has secured fourth number position on fast moving company, world 50 most innovative company 2020 list and only Indian company to be featured in that year. Mishu is also secured number 1 on MIC Indian list. This list include business make a profound impact on industry and its culture. Mishu is India's top reselling app, trusted by more than 1 crore reseller who use the app to earn money online. It is now part of WhatsApp business with a catalog feature. It is empowering women entrepreneurs, housewives, students, and one who willing to start a part-time home-based investment without an investment. It is a best reselling app for women who want to work from home. Necessary mindset for innovation. First, break the traditional rules with traditional approaches and conventional method, and with conventional thinking, you will often not get anywhere in a field of innovation. Challenges the status and explore new paths off the beaten track. Collect new idea everywhere. Innovative project constantly need new idea to overcome obstacle, to change the concept, and to optimize strategies. Next is believe in impossible things. Imagine how your innovation will look like in reality and believe that you will able to overcome all obstacle on the way of realization. Next, put together an innovation team of individuals. Innovation need the diversity of various competency and diverse need of thinking. So company should put together an innovation team of individuals with different perspective and thinking styles. Next, impact of innovation on our society and on company. Innovation is helping in a term of creating a job opportunity for unemployed youth and creating economic growth for our country. Innovation raise standard of living of our society. It create employment opportunity. When it come to developing country like India, digital technology and innovative solution are helping to combat issues such as sickness, poverty and hunger. Some challenges such as sustainability and environmental changes require innovative solution. New greenery technology solutions such as environment friendly cars, solar power and green based products help and will offer more advantages in future. Innovation also help a positive impact on company culture at is increase the ability to acquire, create and make the best use of our resources. And innovation has a positive impact on goodwill of a company because an innovative company build good image in eyes of our society, which enhance the long term profitability of a company. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions for Ms. Sobia? If there's none, kindly join me in thanking Ms. Sobia Sharma for her presentation on innovation. Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker for the session is Ms. Surekha Yashodharan, Department of Computer Science, IHRD, College of Applied Sciences, Karthikapalli, affiliated to University of Kerala. And she will be presenting a paper on an expert system for diagnosis of COVID-19 coronavirus. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, all. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. You're
okay.
audible.
Okay. Shall I?
You have a presentation? Are you sharing a? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Surekha Yashodharan, lecturer in computer science, IHRD College of Applied Science, Karthikapalli. First of all, I would like to thank Almighty and my thanks to all organizers of Bishop Moore College for giving me such an opportunity. Actually, this paper is expert system for diagnosis of coronavirus. And my co-author is Dr. Aisha V, Principal, IHRD College of Applied Science, Vadakkancherry. As we all know that this pandemic has created many problems, and now we are living a new life, like we can say a new change in our life. So the coronavirus is commonly known as severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, that is SARS-CoV-2, which is one of the most infectious viruses which cause problems in respiratory organs. And through this paper, we have developed a new expert system using prologue language for diagnosing the coronavirus infected person with the help of computer application. Actually, it is developed with the help of expert system. An expert system is a part of artificial intelligence. As we all know that nowadays artificial intelligence is seen everywhere, in every application, in medicine, in disaster management, in education, and in we can say like in home related applications also. The use of artificial intelligence is found. artificial intelligence is to make a machine to think like human. So expert system is one of the branch of artificial intelligence which helps in solving the complex issues by retrieving knowledge which is stored in knowledge base. Actually, expert system consists of three main components: knowledge base, inference engine, and user interface. Knowledge base is the area where knowledge is stored about the expert system to identify its quality and efficiency. High quality and domain specific knowledge is stored in this data knowledge base. It has two main domains: factual knowledge and heuristic knowledge. To analyze the data correctly, and we are using, while developing this expert system, we are using if then else rules for formulating the knowledge representation in the knowledge base. And the next component is inference engine, without which nothing is possible, because inference engine is the interface between knowledge base and the user. So the inference engine is considered as the main processing unit of the expert system, and that is clearly demonstrated in the basic architecture of expert system. All naive users can interact with the user interface, and the knowledge experts are interacting with the knowledge base where the facts and rules associated with our problem is solved. And the user will be entering some symptoms of COVID like that, whether he or she is having headache, fever, or like that. And based on the symptoms entered by the user, this machine is giving responses, whether the particular person is having COVID-19 or any other disease. So there are a lot of expert systems dealing with many diseases like diabetic detection, skin detection, skin disease detection, ear or eye related diseases like that. So not yet any expert system for COVID-19 is developed. And this expert system is based on the technique certainty factor and rule based. Certainty factor is having hypothesis and evidences as its two components based on two factors: measure of belief and measure of disbelief. The certainty factor is actually a numerical value. If we are getting the value 1 or greater than 1, we can say that particular patient is COVID-19 infected. Otherwise, we can say that the particular patient is not COVID-19 infected. So measure of belief is associated with the evidences which support the hypothesis. That means it will be having the evidences like a fever, headache, or dry cough like that. So the evidences which are supporting that the particular patient is COVID-19 patient. The other measure of disbelief is indicating that the patient is not infected with COVID-19. So if the person is having wet cough, or if it is now not having any temperature or fever, so the rule is indicating that the person is not having any COVID-19 infections. So actually this paper was developed during the earlier stage of COVID-19. Now I have to include many advanced cases in this paper. Likewise, we are having the cases of Omicron and this Neocov like that. So in this proposed work, I have used SWI Prolog editor for creating knowledge base of the expert system. It is a very comfortable language. Prolog and Lisp are mainly two language associated with AI, and Lisp is used for this list processing of data element. But Prolog we can use as a declarative program like programming logic together with logical concept is also there. So it offers a comprehensive free software Prolog environment. Since I have been limited with only 10 slides as per the institution's requirement. So I couldn't able to put all the backend coding and database coding in this. So I have just put the declarative symptom like that. If the symptom of patient, if the travel abroad, so user interface is being provided with these queries. So many queries are given to this through computer application to the person, and person has to answer it with the yes or no answers. And based on the yes or no answers input by the user, the machine will be giving the proper response, whether he or she is having COVID-19 or not. So a lot of coding is associated with it. So Prolog is having a language with inbuilt database. So we can store the database in the rule-based manner for each and every diseases and each and every symptoms. And according to that, the interface of inference engine will be working. And based on the processing and this database queries, the user will be provided with different type of questions with these applications. And the user has to enter yes or no based on the based on his or her symptoms, and reading that particular match with the rule in the database, the expert system will be giving proper answer to the user. The main advantage with it is that we are not having any direct contact with the person. Everything is done by the computer application. So the conclusion is that this proposed system is a cost-effective and reliable system for diagnosis of COVID-19 coronavirus. In this system, knowledge is acquired from domain experts and from other sources. And after gathering of this knowledge, decision tree is modeled. And at another branch in computer science, we are making decision on the base of the conditions that we have analyzed. And with the help of decision tree, various decision-making procedures are shown, whether the person is suspected with COVID-19 or not. And rule-based knowledge representation with SWI Prolog coding is done for implementing the system. The proposed system is a cost-effective and reliable system for the diagnosis of COVID-19 coronavirus. A lot of things should be mentioned here, but due to the time constraint and due to the limitations of the slides, I have entered only some context of the matter, whatever has done. I have not included all the formulas and all the certainty factor, what I have done in the basis of the evidences and like that. So thank you. And if any queries, you can.
Thank you, Ms. Sureka.
Thank you, ma'am.
We'll move to the last talk of the session. The last speaker for the session is Dr. Ranjit Matthew Abraham, Vice Principal, IQAC Coordinator and Associate Professor of Economics in Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara. He'll be presenting a paper on higher education in India, some issues and concerns. Over to you, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, thank you. Respected chairperson of this paper presentation session, Dr. Princy Elias Paulos, delegates who are listening to this session. The topic of my presentation is higher education in India, some issues and concerns. Actually, the objective of my paper is to highlight the recent results of the All India Survey of Higher Education, and very gross, some inequities are visible from the survey. So my objective is to highlight the inequities, the problem of quantity, the problem of quality, and the problem of inequity in the higher education sector. Now, to begin with, for an introduction, let me just brief about the importance of higher education. I think in the Charter of Human Rights framed by the United Nations organizations in 1948 stated that everybody will
You're audible. Yeah, you're audible, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just highlighting the importance of higher education, and it says that higher education shall be equally accessible to all on the basis of merit. Education mainly deals with the improvement of human resources, And another very important report is the Kothari Commission report that the destiny of India is being shaped in her classrooms. And it is education that determines the level of impact of education on social progress and economic development. So what I'm trying to tell is how very important higher education is for economic development. Now, going back to my objective, first regarding the problem of quantity. Now, I'm highlighting the results of the All India Survey of Higher Education. You will find from 2013-14, there were only 712 universities in India. But in 2020, the number of universities have increased to 1,043. The number of colleges in India was only 36,671, but in 2020, it has increased to 42,343. And the standalone institutions were only 11,445, but in 2020, it has increased to 11,779. This shows that India has a very massive higher education system. It is one of the third largest higher education system in the world. And it is 4 times that of the, it has institutes of the US and the Europe combined. So what I'm trying to say is, in terms of quantity, India has a very large higher education system. But what about the issue of equity? In terms of equity, you will find a very gross inequities exist. I am just going to highlight some of the inequities. Interstate inequity. Now, if you look at the number of colleges per lakh population, you will find the number of colleges varies from 7 in Bihar to 59 in Karnataka, and the all India average is only 30. So you'll find interstate disparity, very wide disparity exists in terms of the number of colleges per eligible population, that is between 18 to 23. Now, coming to programs, the inequity in the programs, only 2.7% of the colleges in India have PhD program, whereas only 35% of the colleges have PG program, whereas undergraduation is available around 70% of the colleges in India. Then coming to gender inequity, you will find the total teachers in India, according to the 2020 IASHE surveys, 15,03,156. And the male percentage is 57.5%, and the female teachers account for only 42.5% of the teachers. So for every 100 male teachers, there are only 74 female teachers. Again, this highlights the gross gender inequality existing in our higher education sector. Now, coming to infrastructure, since there is shortage of time, I'm not going to detail on all the infrastructure inequities. I'll just mention a few. For example, auditorium. Only 82% of the universities have auditorium, only 62% of the colleges in India have auditorium. When coming to theaters, only 49% of the universities have theaters, while coming to colleges, only 21% of the colleges have theaters. Then the gymnasium facilities, only 40% of the colleges have gymnasium facilities. Similarly, the National Knowledge Network connectivity, only 23% of the colleges have the NKN connectivity. Similarly, the connectivity with regard to NMEICT, only 22% of the colleges. So what I'm trying to highlight is, in terms of infrastructure also, there is very gross inequity existing in our higher education sector. Another very important inequity is regarding the enrollment. The enrollment ratio in the higher education for the age group 18 to 23 years was 27.1. That is the higher education enrollment ratio is 27.1 at the national level. The male enrollment ratio is 26.9 and the female is 27.3. But looking at the community level for the scheduled caste, it is only 23.4%. Among the scheduled caste male, it is only 22.8. Scheduled caste female, it is 24.1. Similarly, for the scheduled tribe, the situation is very much worse. You will find among the scheduled tribe only 18.2% of GER, gross enrollment ratio, and the scheduled tribe female, it is only 17.7. So in terms of community also, you will find there is very gross inequity that is existing in the higher education sector of India. Now coming to quality. The problem of quality, I'm just going to highlight the problem of quality. The quality of higher education in India has always been mired in a web of incompetence and inefficiency. No Indian university or institution of higher education has been figured among the top 100 or 200 institutions according to the global rankings. So very few, even institutions, I think very few IITs come up only within the top 400 institutions in the world. Even though we boast of some of the best universities, India boasts of some of the great intellectual history with some of the best universities such as Nalanda and Takshashila dating back to the 7th century BC, but still you will find there is no single world-class university in India. So what is the reason? You will find there is lack of academic freedom, and genuine original research is lacking in our higher education system. And therefore, now you will find India has also embarked upon the project of ranking the higher education systems, like we have the NIRF, where they have a specific methodology to rank all the institutions. Similarly, we have the NAAC, and now we have the SAC. So there are a lot of institutions which have a specific methodology. But when the methodology differs, you will find the ranking also differs. So it has to be seen. The ranking systems are very much criticized because when the methodology changes, the ranking also changes. Therefore, I'm just suggesting some of the recommendations that can be done to improve the quality of higher education. One is the, which has already been implemented, the establishment of the IQAC. Then funding has to be assured for all the universities and the aided colleges. There has to be a high degree of academic autonomy in order to facilitate quality research. Similarly, there has to be a freedom to hire high quality faculty from different parts of the world and also within the country in order to elevate the level of education in this country. And finally, there has to be a depoliticization of the higher education sector. It is, these are some of the recommendations that can give a boost to the higher education sector. And my conclusion is this: even though we boast of a very broad, wide, and a big, colossal higher education system in the country, there are a lot of lacunae in terms of inequity and inequality existing in the higher education sector. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for a wonderful presentation, and thank you for sharing very correctly some of the issues and concerns in the higher education system of our country. Thank you so much, sir. Dear participants, we have come to the end of this session on paper presentations. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the speakers who have presented their papers in today's session. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, concerns, your ideas on various aspects of teaching, learning, research, higher education in the perspective of NAAC reaccreditation framework. I also take this opportunity to thank all the participants, especially those who have patiently stayed with us till the end of this presentation, till the end of today's session. It's been a long day. Tomorrow we will be joining back at 9 a.m. in the morning using the same Zoom link that you have used today. So with that, we conclude today's session, and I wish you all a very wonderful evening. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.